Hello, gang. Jason here. And just want to give you a heads up. This podcast is very casual compared to some of the ones we had in the past. Not that they're not casual, but this is a 3-hour podcast. We're sipping and talking about whiskey, talking about experience, the pros and cons of selling some car washes. And it's very laid back. It's a 3-hour podcast. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up. This was my first time using the mobile rig, and I could have adjusted the audio better. So it should sound pretty good, but there may be a few moments where it's a little on the light side. I apologize for that. Making adjustments. In the meantime, kick back, relax. And in this podcast, you're going to hear about selling washes, running washes, leadership, Tae Bo, and just about everything in between. Enjoy.
Thomas.
What's up?
How's it going, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good.
Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, man.
This is cool.
This is cool.
Glad to have you.
Yes, sir. Well, welcome to podcast Subconscious Sales, podcast number 4. We're here at location. We got our mobile rig here. It's the first time trying this. I think it's going to work. And we're here with Alex Thomas of Thomas Car Wash and the Thomas Car Wash family. First of all, let's get started. Like, you're a bourbon guy.
I am. So
tell us what we got going on.
Man. Being born, raised in Louisville, you're surrounded by bourbon.
Okay.
The first medicinal bourbon licenses were distributed here in Louisville.
Medicinal.
Sounds
familiar.
Yeah, during Prohibition. So, I mean, we got some of the oldest distilleries here. Whiskey is bourbon. Bourbon is not whiskey.
Okay.
Right? Or, I'm sorry, vice versa.
Yeah.
Bourbon is whiskey. Whiskey is not bourbon.
Come on, Kentucky.
Sorry, man. But
let's try it again. Bourbon is whiskey, right?
all bourbon is whiskey.
Yeah, but whiskey, not all whiskey.
Not all
bourbon.
whiskey is bourbon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bourbon has a few distinctions. It's sweeter typically than Scotch. All Scotch is whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah, very sweet. It's in our blood, I guess.
Yeah. What's it made from?
Corn.
Okay.
So it has to be at least 51% corn.
Okay.
And then you can have any other up to 3 or 4 is typical. You can have rye, barley, wheat.
Okay.
Kind of it just depends on the distillery and the mash bill they decide to use.
Okay.
So once they cook that mash up, they distill it down. They'll put it in a barrel, whatever that distillate is, and age it for anywhere from 4 to 20-something years.
Yeah.
And there is a sweet spot. All distilleries are different, but
okay.
I love older bourbons. 17 to 20 years. That's what we're gonna be sipping today.
Sweet, man. I feel honored. So what we got here first?
This is Blade and Bow. So pretty bottle. Blade and Bow is designated by the keys. So the blade of the key,
Yeah.
and then the bow on the back ring of the key.
Yeah.
And then there's 5 keys. Blade and Bow. So it's a distillery owned by a company called Diageo, one of the biggest liquor companies in the world.
Okay.
And they go around and they buy up distilleries, right? So if they buy a distillery, they get the stock that's been there. These barrels have been aging. So they have another series called Orphan Barrel, which if you spin the camera around, you don't have to. But it's some of my favorite stuff, just from the story behind it. It's not all great stuff, but when they buy the stock, they have these orphaned barrels. Sometimes they don't know where they came from.
Yeah,
so
well, that's cool.
But anyway, Diageo also has this out called Blade and Bow. They've got a 5-year and the 22-year, and it's rumored to be old Pappy from the Stitzel-Weller Distillery.
Okay.
Which they bought. They use something called the Solara method of blending, so they could put a drop of old Pappy in it and say, it's good. So it is kind of up in the air, but it's fantastic. I get bubblegum notes. It's old, and sometimes I'll just pour a whiskey and just sit it next to me while I'm working, just to have that scent. It's just like it's like a candle. So
like a candle.
Yeah.
All right,
you
man.
mind?
Heck yeah, please do.
All right.
So 22 years ago, so we're talking 2003.
So it was in the barrel for 22 years. If they took it out of the barrel 4 years ago, it's still 22 years. But this was sitting in a barrel for 22
years. So that's from the late 90s.
Yeah,
has a late. Do you think the bottle has a late 90s vibe? Does it look grunge?
No, because...
Maybe 70s, 80s vibe? What do you think?
Yeah, grunge. Put some Jinko jeans on. All right.
Jinko jeans for your bottle of whiskey. There's something to be had there.
Take it.
All right.
Enjoy yourself. All right. So I'd recommend
let
it breathe. Just a little touch. Let it breathe for about 5-10 minutes.
That smells amazing.
It's a candle.
Yeah,
it's
man.
a candle, man. So it's a good bottle. It's one of my favorite bottles. I got a few of them. Dad's got one. Hadn't opened it, but he's got one at the house.
Yeah.
Very pretty presentation. The gold. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, man. So just sit.
All right, cheers.
Swirl it around. Yeah.
Cheers
go
to
for
whiskey?
it. Yeah.
Or bourbon, sorry.
Yeah. So,
oh, man. The scent is good.
yeah. So you tilt it.
Mm-hmm.
Smell through each nostril. Go right to left sometimes, left to right. And when you smell with your mouth open.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm gonna let it breathe for about another 5 or 10 minutes.
All right. Start talking about car washing, then we'll take a sip.
I like talking about car washing.
So tell us a little bit, a lot of people probably know this, but just give us a super brief overview of the family, of the car washing family.
Yeah.
The history.
We are, I think, the oldest car wash family in America.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather started it in 1946. Him and his brother, excuse me. And so our family came over, his side, from the Middle East during the Great Depression. But they came to Ellis Island. Our last name was Tanous.
Mm-hmm.
They stamped Thomas just to make it more American.
Yeah.
And that was in 1927, I believe he came over. He was 7 years old. He was born in 1920. And he went to high school here.
Wow.
He didn't have an accent. He knew Arabic and spoke Arabic.
Sweet.
But there was no accent. He knew English. And went to high school here. He was a sergeant in World War War II. Came back and started washing cars with his brother. So there were some things in between. There's a place called the Haymarket, which is just like a big open bazaar, open flea market, where they'd sell fruits, ham and all sorts of things downtown Louisville. And then after that, him and his brother started a car wash. It was an old Quonset hut building, a little round looking thing. And that's where they got their start. Eminent Domain, which is, they called it Urban Renewal at the time, took it over, and now it doesn't stand anymore. But since then, my dad and uncle got involved.
Real quick, what was his MOS in World War II?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any idea what he did at all?
I don't.
Okay.
I know his brother Nick, who did the wash, he was boots on the ground.
Okay.
But no, I should know.
Curious.
My cousin Chris is a lot. He was an Army guy.
That's
He
right.
knew a lot more about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so now your father and uncle are in the scene.
Yeah. Yeah, so they went to UK. No, went to UK. They got out in 78, 79.
Okay.
And my Uncle Mike said when he graduated, he said, well, Dad, when do you want me to come to work? How long can I take off? He said, you come tomorrow. So the day after he graduated, he started at lunch.
Fantastic.
And that's kind of how they came. And all it's just family business. All the girls cashiered.
Yeah.
They didn't typically work outside. That was more the dude's thing. But all my sisters have done it.
Yeah. That's cool.
I grew up doing it from when I was a baby.
So you're a baby spraying wheel cleaner, right?
Yeah. Well, at the time, you didn't know it was bad. People were tougher back then, I guess.
Yeah,
You're sitting there,
hey.
you got a bottle. It used to be called wire wheel cleaner.
Uh-huh.
And it's just HF. And it's in a little bottle. And I remember bending down and just and spraying it in the spokes and hitting it with the gun.
Heck yeah, man. You turned out all right.
I turned out
You're
fine.
healthy. Yeah, you're a healthy young man.
So I did not like working in high school and in college. I didn't like the car wash. It was just hard work, and I never got to hang out with my friends on the weekends.
Yeah.
I just remember having to work on weekends and
Yeah.
coming home from UK on the weekends to work. But I'm grateful for it all. It's looking back on it.
A lot of stuff I worked my whole life too, and you give it 15, 20 years, right? And we're super grateful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mold you. Graduated UK in 2010. 2008, the job market sucked, and that was still kind of going on. So I decided, give this car wash thing a try.
Yeah.
And, can't get through it. Might as well get into it.
Yeah.
just started to learn to like it. And I really like the hands-on aspect. I grew up with Connects. I was never a Lego kid, but I grew up with Connects. You know Connects?
I've heard of it.
Dude, you gotta get some. They're really cool. They're
They didn't have it back in my day, man.
I bet they did.
But they didn't.
Maybe not. They're phenomenal. But I used to build Connect car washes and stuff like that. So anyway, and get into the car wash and start to get your hands dirty and figure out how to fix stuff. And you realize, like, this is just a big erector set.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
It's satisfied a lot of that ADD or OCD. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Satisfied a lot. And you go home dirty hands and you just feel like you did something. Mm-hmm. You can see your work visually. So I loved that. And even up until the point of selling, I really enjoyed going in late at night, working on stuff.
Yeah.
After we laid the kids down, I'd go back out to the washes.
Yep.
There's a piece in it. Sometimes being by yourself.
Yeah.
Fixing something, spraying the walls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had a great crew at Thomas as far as fixing things, and it didn't fall on me, but I still love to go back and fix some stuff.
Yeah, you always like the mechanical stuff, and yeah. That's good. That's good. So you guys, you have an experience of selling the wash, all but one, and looking back, let's take a sip before we start that.
That's a good. Give it a little smell. Give it a swirl. Typically, swirl all you can. Swirl.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Swirl all you can. You're not going to spill it out.
Okay.
These little Glennies will hold it pretty good. When you smell, tilt it as far as you can.
Okay.
And then all that ethanol will kind of rise at the top, and put your nose at the bottom. There you go.
Wow, man.
So if you put your nose at the top, you're just getting just that alcohol hit, and it's not very.
Yeah, I always like the smell of it. Yeah.
Can you get any bubble gum?
I do. I mean, I would have never like thought of saying that, but the first smell of this, I got bubblegum smell. Yeah.
So, you pull anything out? What else do you?
Oh, man, I don't have any talent for this. I have no experience.
If I say it, you think you'll caramel, vanilla.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's great, dude.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I want to drink it. So.
Come on, yeah.
It's good stuff.
You might have to speed up that sip, but it's fantastic. Just a couple dudes.
That's good stuff.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a bourbon rookie. I shouldn't say rookie. I just don't partake very often, but it's good. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. They call it the Kentucky Chew. Mm-hmm. You can just wish it around. Make sure it coats all your mouth, top, bottom.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah.
That's good stuff.
No, just sip slow. Enjoy it. Just the amount of work and time and hands that were involved in making this, and it's man-made, but it's nature, you know.
Yeah, well, it takes time. You can't rush.
Yeah. Farmers made they got the grains, they raise the corn, you take it, you put it in, you cook it, they put it in a barrel, which is put it in a tree and you let it cure for 20 years.
Yeah.
Cure, I don't know, you let it sit for 20 years. It's all it's nature. You get the elements, the heat, the cold,
Yeah, it's definitely an artisan thing. There's a doing some different business things throughout my life. I was exposed to a place called I think Cleveland Whiskey out near my neck of the woods, a little bit north of where I live, and they patented a whole process. If I remember this correctly, you know, internet's going to correct all this stuff, but if I remember correctly, they patented a process where they like aged, you know, something 20 years in a matter of, you know, weeks, and. I know, but it was a niche thing, and it worked.
Yeah,
and it was good, and I respect what they did because they had a great product. But there's still a difference between a great product and an artisan of everything you're saying. You know, there's a spirit or something that goes into that. There's a lot that goes into that. Yeah, you know, certain things. I think you can still get something great doing it your own way, like that Cleveland whiskey. But this is different, and I'm glad it's different. You know, and I'm glad it isn't duplicated throughout. You know, being rushed.
And I don't want to be resistant to change. You never want to stop changing, or you never want to be resistant to change to a certain degree. So maybe hey, kudos to them.
Yeah.
All right. I've heard of some dudes aging whiskey with sound, the sound waves.
Yeah. Well, everything's waves according to Tesla and Einstein, all those people. So you never know.
Interesting.
Yeah, we haven't even started yet. We want to get philosophical. We're just half a sip in. No, Tesla and Einstein. They pretty much discovered. Again, I'm probably butcher certain scientists, but everything is vibrations and waves. And
I talked to a guy who said Tesla wanted to pull electricity out of the air.
He did. He didn't want to.
This is true?
Yeah, it's true. He did.
I don't. That's phenomenal.
100%.
Say he did that. Where would what now? Would we be free electricity? Would that? Could we use phones?
Yeah.
Could
Is that where you think that came from?
I don't know.
That or aliens, maybe. There's theories there, but yeah, that a lot of that stuff. We could have free electricity. It's called. There's a lot of different things it's called, but it has to do with control and power, and basically the main power systems companies, and I forget who they are. They're escaping me at the moment, but they help fund this stuff, and then they put it away.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because right when Niagara was built, all this was happening around the same time. And that's his first. Again, I'm butchering a lot of this history because I know, but I don't know the specifics of it. And right on one of the world fairs or something, he basically brought all this in and showed him. And he built if I remember correctly, he built the actual Niagara Falls, the first turbine, the first electric power plant that was
Tesla.
Turbo-driven. Yeah.
I need to read a book on it.
Him and I think Edison did not like each other because Edison took his stuff. First of all, Edison was trying to prove that DC was better, and it wasn't. AC was way better. It's light years ahead of DC because alternating current is basically a vibrating current for, again, like a better term. I know I'm butchering it, folks, but just get over it. We're having a conversation. But yeah, it's basically pulsing electricity, and DC is direct, okay? But the AC worked a lot better for distance. And what they were have fairs, and Edison and his cohorts would purposely, this is terrible, but it's true, electrocute elephants and different things with AC.
No, okay. I know that.
Yeah, terrible stuff.
That sucks.
Hey, look how dangerous this is. And look how safe this is. And people think we've evolved. We haven't in many ways. Again, we talk about different powerful entities, whether it's business, pharmaceutical, banking. Like the same stuff happens today. Maybe not the obvious degree it happens now, but it still happens in very similar ways. Like if you have a lot of power, you can market in a very certain way. And social media and YouTube has changed a lot of that, but that also has a lot of control elements in it as well. So,
somebody asked me the other day what I missed most about Thomas.
Yeah.
And not a much different degree, but my name's on the building, and when people met me, they were kind of like, "Oh, that's you." It was a nice. I missed that.
Yeah.
But I thought, and I look at other business owners this way. I respect you if you run a good business, for sure. It's hard. It's hard to do it anyway. But can you be kind while you do it? And I think kindness in a position of power, I think, is so noble. I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss being able to be that. Whether I was good at it or not, or in my head, probably in my head more than I thought. But
no, you guys had it. It was part of your. What was the?
That was our first core value.
Yeah.
Kindness. Yeah. Which now with Clementines, it's still sweet.
Yeah.
It mirrors kind.
Yeah.
So yeah. I miss that. But yeah, power can go to your head.
Absolutely.
And so I couldn't imagine what Tesla or Edison, I don't know who was doing that.
Oh, yeah. Edison was doing all the shady stuff.
Hobnobbery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does.
But that's interesting. I need to read up on Tesla.
Oh, it's fascinating. He was so far ahead of everybody.
Was he?
They made Einstein look like a child.
Were they all the same time?
Tesla, I think, is a hint older than Einstein, I think. And then Einstein was even asked one time, how's it feel being the smartest man? And he said something to the effect that that's not really me, that's Tesla. He recognized that Tesla was ahead of him. Again, I'm over embellishing some of it. Einstein wasn't a child, but he knew Tesla was another level. He was a level above Einstein for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah?
I like that.
Crazy stuff. Yeah, stuff he was doing back then. It was bananas. This is legit.
Glad you like it. This is one of my favorite bottles. We've got two more, and you can have extra pours. You can have a little. Don't feel like you got to drink it.
Oh, I'm good. Let's keep going. Let's try something else.
Everyone's got a different palate. I should have brought some water to put in there. Rinse it.
Can bring some water down. Whatever. Yeah. We can take our time.
We'll probably take our time. Yeah. So rinse it, swirl it, sip it, but we'll keep going.
Cool. So tell us about your experience with the sale.
That was toughest year of my life. Going through COVID at the time, so 2020, golly, it's getting past that. That was the hardest year until the year of the sale. Okay. So, going through COVID, we had it was different for everybody, but we got shut down if you weren't essential. Was all America like that?
Every state was different.
Every state was different.
Yeah.
So Kentucky,
every state was a variance of it.
Because I had clients everywhere, and some states were super strict, some states were a little bit more liberal. Then it also fluctuated. Some states would change things within a matter of weeks and let more people on. Then some people would stick strict to it for months.
Well, we had, and I thought our governor did a good job, but we were shut down if you weren't essential for, I forgot how long it was, but when it first happened, nobody knew what was going on, right? Nobody knew anywhere what was going on. And we had to pull our vacuum hoses off, because if you touch the vacuums, you spread it and all. And we had just opened, so this would have been March of 2020, so March 10th, I don't know. We just opened our site. Taylor was pregnant with our third child, Charlie Boy, and his due date, I forgot his due date, but he ended up coming on March 14th, Pi Day, 2020, the week of the shutdowns. We had a brand new wash. We had just opened in November of the year before, so it's 4 months before. We had a young crew, and seeing all that stuff on the news, the crew, they were nervous. Hey man, we got to take some time off.
Well, speaking of politics, they were nervous and they got paid.
And they got paid, yeah.
Yeah, to stay home.
Yeah. And we thought that was the right move at the time. How are you going to tell someone to stick around? Nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say. I did say this thing looks like it's going to be around.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you were suspicious of, entities, still none of us knew. You still have no idea, because there is real things that happen. Like this is real stuff too. So who knows?
Nobody knew. So the crew leaving, and we were doing monthly plans. So shutting down. Like, do we reimburse? DRB couldn't do suspensions at the time. Mm-hmm. There was a whole lot of stuff going into it, and I tried to think of everything. But we had a whole crew gone. We had customers who wanted to wash, and I was holding a baby. And 2 more kids and an awesome wife. She's recovering. So I remember sitting, it would have been March 16th, 2020, or March 7th, something like that. I was sitting in the bathroom giving one of the kids a bath. Jack was probably 4 at the time. No, 2 at the time. And I was holding Charlie, 2-day-old, and I got news that the crew took off. And I was sitting on the toilet. I wasn't going to the bath. I was just sitting on the toilet, closed seat, holding a baby, and I had my first panic attack. And I didn't know what it was, but I remember my vision just kind of going like this.
Whoa, holding a baby.
But holding a baby, it's just everything. And I remember in my voice in my head sounded like this, like I'm just talking to you.
Yeah.
And I was telling myself, just breathe. And I was like, but I can't breathe. But and then it's like, well, just take a breath. Yeah. So I was getting the tunnel vision, couldn't breathe, and it might have lasted 20 seconds. It didn't last long. And then that's looking back, that's what it was. Anxiety attack, I don't know. So anyway, 2020 was the hardest year until the year of the sale. I went on a tangent.
Oh, man.
2020 was a tough year. The year of the sale, so when you're going through a sale, anyone that's been through it, they want to know, they're doing their due diligence, and respect to them for doing it. Why'd you buy pencils on March 14th, 2025? I don't know. Why'd you, they just get really in depth. It's not that bad, but pretty much. And so I had to produce all these documents. I think it was like 900 documents total.
What the heck?
It was a lot, but they're paying a good amount for it. So it was hard to do. That took almost the whole year, and to do it while still not knowing if it's the right idea. Should we sell? Should we not? We were the oldest wash in America. We still are, excuse me. But we were giving up a lot. I do think we made the decision as a family, but not just Tae and I, but my mom, my dad, my uncle Mike, his wife. And we decided as a team, okay, let's do it. And the non-compete was relatively short. Mm-hmm. So we went ahead with it. And we sold almost January 9th, so a year ago.
Yeah, from shooting. Week. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was tough. One thing that did help during the year of the sale, so leading up to it, I made 3 lists. I got a little Remarkable. Mm-hmm. Remarkable?
Yeah, I know this.
Awesome, dude. Yeah. So made 3 lists. What I'm going to miss about Thomas, what I won't miss, because there are some things that was nice to, and what I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah.
And so it's nice now if I have days of regret, which I do. It's nice to go back and see.
Man, does that something you came with yourself, or someone give you that wisdom?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't remember.
That is wise. Talk about a tip. That's a great tip,
I'm sure I heard it from somebody.
I mean, that's just.
But I don't remember who.
Any bigger event in life. That's pretty. It's a pretty good tip, man.
I'm not one to journal. My wife is. She's really good about it. And so you forget.
Yeah.
And that's been really helpful. And then every 2 to 4 months, I'll go back and write, 4 months after the sale.
Good for you.
This is how I'm feeling, what's going on,
Good for you.
where we're at. So you can kind of see progress.
Yeah. That's great. And now that it's post-sale, you were mentioning earlier, there's probably a lot of things you can't talk about, but nobody really stayed.
No.
Yeah, but you still keep in touch with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we, so 2024, a year after, when did we do this? Whenever football season started, we all got back together, did another round of fantasy football.
Oh, heck
so we all met at B-Dubs. It was cool to reconnect. And I say we all, it was 13 to 15 of us. But it was the old team.
Yeah.
It was cool to hang with everybody. Yeah. And then the season just ended. So, but there's a couple guys that I talk to very, very frequently.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I don't, that if they called, we'd probably talk for an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's certain things in life where they're challenging, but when you build something special, like that's a connection, that's a bond forever.
Yeah.
When you do something special.
Yeah.
Like my old wash, we did something very special at the time. And in fact, we just had a Christmas party. It was over there with some of the guys, and like that bonds forever. And you miss a lot of the good times, even though it's like super hard work. You work at stupid hours, Northeast. Basically, in the winter, you could work 20 days straight or not work for a week, depending on weather. But you might be working literally a couple weeks straight, 12, 14-hour days, and even more because you have to do the maintenance. When you're washing 13, 1,500 cars plus a day, days and days and days in a row, you got to come in at night and fix stuff. And but again, that's a bond, like because it's a little bit of warrior mentality. You got to accomplish something. It's a really special thing.
When we get back together, we talk about old stories, and I grew up with you can kind of like parse it into a few different teams.
Yeah.
So the Bardstown full serve crew.
Yeah.
Different type of clientele.
Sure.
Different type of dudes I worked with, and they were it's just older guys.
Yep.
A lot of older black dudes. You get to learn about like the older culture.
Yeah.
And the different I can remember like superstitions.
Yeah.
I would just getting exposed to a different culture.
Yeah. I felt it when I was down there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really cool culture down there. Yeah.
So Bardstown was a certain team. Hurstbourne was a certain team. These are names of our sites, but
yeah,
I think the site takes on the personality of its manager in a way. So you can kind of see the differences wherever you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bardstown was cool. I grew up there, and it was in a kind of rougher area. Now it's rougher than it was, but Hurstbourne was a nicer area. Preston was kind of a rougher area. So different experiences from different places.
Yeah.
But the thing I miss the most about that is the team. I miss the team so much, man. We had something really good, and I think everybody enjoyed it. Our turnover was next to nothing.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into turnover that people don't realize, and that accomplishing something is part of it. Yeah. So flexibility is a big part of it. People underestimate, obviously, taking care of people monetarily is part of it. But if you study the mind, it's going after something. That's special. So when I met you, you guys were doing a certain number, and you've doubled or tripled since I met you guys.
We met before COVID. We met.
Oh, yeah.
And
so you were my first clients, 17 or 18. You were my first clients.
We were.
One of them, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Thanks,
yeah,
dude.
The ones that listen the best.
Was that it?
You did. Yeah, we don't have to agree on anything. We certainly didn't, but you listened well, and you applied a lot of stuff. You get diligent at it.
That's cool. Yeah, so I think when we met, when you came down the most recent time, maybe, we had, I think I remember the number, 2,400 members or 2,300. We got stagnant. This was at Hurstbourne. And DRB, always who we used. DRB said you would plateau.
And I came in.
Yeah, and so that was right before COVID.
Christina that was a couple of years before COVID. Yeah. Because I remember a lot of the numbers.
Christina, so 2020, when we really ramped up,
yeah,
you came, Christina came on full time. That's my cousin. And we went from 2,400 members that we were at, I think, for about 2 years, right? Well, and then we doubled it. Yeah. Just making a few solid changes.
Yeah. I remember you saying you thought it was crazy when I told you what I thought you could do.
Yeah. Well, we were content. We were doing well. We were washing a lot.
No, you can't be content. Competition's too stiff. You cannot be content.
I know. You always said, you got to be alpha. all right, bro, calm down. But it's true. It's true. If you're not, somebody else is. And so you got.
It's funny. I'm pretty chill on my videos. I'm pretty laid back. When it gets on, when it's time to do something, we got to be alpha. You can't be second place.
I agree. I agree with
These days you can't.
No.
And that's an important thing. You know, you guys were doing this for so long, and it's consulting is way harder for seasoned owners. Newer owners, they listen. Seasoned owners, especially if you're a successful seasoned owner, like, okay, you think you got it and you're content, but like, hey, by the way, the competition is gonna, it's gonna be 5 times what it is for 20 years, and it literally is 5 times what it was 20 years ago, or even 15 or 10 years ago.
That was another reason that kind of factored into selling. It's like, I think we would have done very well because of being in the city. We lived in the community. We did well.
You were good operators. Yeah.
Thanks, man. And competition makes you better. We had a couple guys come into town that were good, that were better than us. I would thought, and it just makes you, put your foot to the fire, holds you to the fire, whatever that phrase is. It's good to have an enemy in business.
Yeah.
For motivation.
Yeah.
It's good to have competition. Competition makes you better. Enemies you want to put in the dirt.
Yeah.
But competition, and they're both good for you because they both motivate you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a blessing when an enemy comes nearby.
That's true. Yeah. Some Patrick Bet-David stuff going on there.
You told me about him. He's awesome.
He is awesome. But you read that book though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How to?
Did you believe that before the book?
No, I think I believed it, but I never said it.
Yeah, I may not said it like that, but I remember years ago, way before the book came out, you talked about how some of the competition was better at certain things, and it lit a fire in you. And
he's a friend now, but I can say this was 2012, 2013. So we had one site. Well, we had 2, but one was called a different name. So we had one site for all intents and purposes in Louisville. We went in the 70s and 80s from 8 sites down to 1 in 2010, 2012, and a car wash called Speed Wash. Great operator, great owner named Chris Harrison. And him and I were texting on Functional Health just a couple days ago. Good dude. But at the time, my dad worked 7 days a week. 7 days, dude. And growing up, Dad worked 7 days a week. I remember being like 13, 14, going to church, and it was a rainy day, so he came.
Yeah.
And my friends were like, you have a dad? I was like, yeah, dude. This dude works on it. So anyway, we were going to be able to close on Sunday so he could come to church. And I was super pumped about that. And then we found out competition was coming.
Oh, boy. So
I didn't like this dude, vilified this dude. Like I said, now, very cool guy. But at the time, Alex, he said, Alex, I can't close now. We got these guys coming. I can't close on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we only had one site at the time. We weren't in uniforms. So realizing competition's coming 2 miles away, get you some uniforms. Step 1. And it really put our foot to the fire. And from that, we grew, our car count grew, revenue grew. We were able to buy Hurstbourne. And then from that, we were able to build Preston. So if competition didn't come, I don't know where we would be.
I tell you what, there's so much to be learned here. Yeah. It's, I just don't consult car washes anymore. It's like other businesses. And some of them are in their own little niche, and they're doing okay. Sure. And they have no idea. Like, you better get good now, because someone else could just go right past you. Like, you can't be complacent. You got to tighten up everything.
It's good to know your competition.
Yeah, you got to tighten up everything. Yeah. You can't just be okay. Like, the uniform thing really gets to me, because like, why wouldn't you be doing that 10 years ago?
I have no idea.
You know?
You did, because you didn't need to.
I
you don't have competition. You theoretically you don't have to.
Yeah.
And you just get complacent. You get we used to call it tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You get tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You get used to seeing the same thing, and you're like, well, there's no stain. Your shirt looks fine today. It's because it looked better than you did the day before. But, yeah, it is nice to have someone, an outside consultant, come in and be like, nice, that sucks. Do this. Because we don't know.
Yeah.
Or we do know and nobody's telling us to do it.
Yeah. And people don't realize how the little things add up, the theory of marginal gains. It's a very real thing. You improve everything, your business is going to go up. That's all there is to it. It's that simple. Yes. You keep improving every little part of your business a little bit, you could be really surprised at the numbers you can do. But people dismiss all little things. They dismiss the uniforms, how people look, how people smile. Mm-hmm. How many of you just focus on, hey, you're not going to work here unless you smile at every customer? 5% of people doing that? Maybe. You know how big a difference that makes? A genuine smile? Huge difference.
And there are things you can do. So taking care of your employees will put a smile on their face.
That's
more
right.
so
That's
than
where
not.
culture is key to that. Yeah.
We did not pay better than competition. I don't think we did. I mean, we were comparable, but a little less. Enough to where a difference of 50 cents wouldn't make them leave for the competition. But one thing we were good at, we actually did this during COVID and we couldn't share it. There was a girl graduating high school, couldn't have her prom. So we had a prom. Did you know about that? We had a prom at the Wash.
I do remember that a little bit. Yeah, that's cool.
It was, and we went, and I was still kind of nervous to go because it was.
Yeah.
We said no cameras, can't take any pictures. Looking back, like it was. I think Christina put it on, or just the whole team. Kevin. They did a really good job.
Sweet.
We had security.
Yeah.
Kenny was our employee. He's a former cop. He worked security at the front door, and if you were wearing jeans, you couldn't get in. So people came in gowns. And we were wearing suits and shirts and ties.
That's legit.
And it was in the car wash lobby. It was after we closed, like 9 o'clock. And
that's the good stuff, man.
Yeah, but stuff like that.
That's cool.
You take care of your team and you know them on a personal level. Always say their names when you see them. Just get to know them. Be around.
Yeah.
You know, I think being an absentee owner trying to do that, I don't see where you could get that culture in place.
It depends on if you had a leader in place of the absentee owner, you could.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know, that's all what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that was something I was involved in. We had an absentee owner for quite a while, and the one skill set I do have is getting to know people very well. But also, some owners don't get that, and I remember some instances where labor was such a to the minute. If it's not raining, it's cloudy, whatever, you cut labor. It's like, no, man. Like, I got to spend 15 minutes with this person. You got these, 16 to 20-year-old people, like, they need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And what you just said goes a long way, and you got to spend some time with them. You have to spend 15 minutes there, 20 minutes there, getting to know them. That's why they stay.
That's why they stay.
Because they can tell. You can't fake that when you actually care about someone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had a good team. I can't stress that enough. I miss them a lot. Looking back.
Yeah.
But I think I did have a vision when we sold. It's kind of a selfish vision, but I know Mike's Car Wash, I always thought took care of their employees. And Mike's has, 50 locations. I don't know what they ended up splitting not too long ago. Now they got two different names, but there were some guys, Jimmy, who came and did our equipment, Ryan. Who are all the Mike's guys? Like the original Mike's managers. Anyway, they're probably in their 40s or 50s now. But from Mike's, 20 years ago, they were young managers, and they have since left and kind of blossomed, and they're still in the car wash industry, just doing awesome things. And so there's still this tight knit community of guys they've split off. They're very successful in the same career, doing something else. And so I kind of thought, like, oh man, we could have our own little network or like legacy, so to speak, of old Thomas guys that are doing stuff in the industry. And I don't know if it panned out, but
well, it's still young. You're only a year out.
I know. Like, it's a selfish vision. They might not have wanted that themselves, but I always thought that would have been cool.
That is cool. All right. Well, what else do we have? Let's get on our whiskey in here, man.
So our next bottle, typically I'd rinse these.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll be all right. This is my second favorite bottle of all time. This is E.H. Taylor 4 grain.
Oh, first of all, can I read this for a second? I'm reading a book. Oh, I can't read. It's too small.
No. You wear glasses? Contacts?
I need to. This is a little bit later. I'm reading a book right now, The Frontiersman, and it's just about 50 years before this, 60 years before this. So,
Colonel E.H. Taylor
was
one of the leaders in the Bottled and Bond Act.
Okay.
And Bottled and Bond Act, basically, it was the first government-regulated food law, food and drink law. Before that, there were no laws. It was the first one. I'm almost 100% sure. But before that, for bourbon, or whiskeys, really bourbon, there were distillers putting in turpentine. Turpentine? What do you call it?
Turpentine.
They were putting in...
we call it turpentine. Ohio, we call it turpentine.
They were putting in prune juice. They were putting in tobacco spit. So they were taking vodka, putting in tobacco spit to darken it up and say, this is bourbon. This is whiskey. So it wasn't regulated. The Bottled and Bond Act E.H. Taylor was him and a bunch of other guys, I guess, but he was one of the main dudes. Helped get it going. So whenever you see Bottle and Bond, this little tax strip, Bottle and Bond said it has to be 100 proof. There has to be a tax man on site to stamp it, which that gets in a whole other territory. I don't know about all that, but anyway, it regulated and.
Need a knife?
No.
Okay.
I was just building.
Yeah.
That's a good pop, dude. That's a good pop. So 4 grain. E.H. Taylor comes in. You have small batch, single barrel, 4 grain. You got Amaranth. They've got Warehouse C. You got tons of different stuff. 4 grain's interesting because bourbon typically got to have at least 51% corn in the mash, in the distillate. And then anything else after that. And any other second grain. 4 grain uses 4 total grains. Okay. So it's going to have 51% corn or more. I don't know the ratio, but at least 51% corn. And they use, I believe it's wheat, barley, rye? Maybe not wheat, I'm sorry. I should know that. Corn, wheat, rye, and barley. Okay, and it says the tasting notes, but I think we're going to try and figure it out on our own.
Okay. So, speaking of regulation, do you know about the history during the Prohibition, how they poisoned like hundreds or maybe thousands of people?
On purpose?
Yeah.
No. Tell me.
Look that one up too.
You want to talk about it?
I don't know the entity that sanctioned it, but it's a very real thing. They purposely poisoned certain amounts of alcohol, and like a lot of people, at least in the hundreds, but it very well could have been thousands, like died because it's during Prohibition. They're trying to
like thin the herd?
Well, teach a lesson.
Oh, yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I got all the bad news, man.
All
right, I got to at least smell it.
Yeah, let this one breathe for sure. This is 10 years? It's got to be at least. I think it's 12. I don't know if it says, but. So, cool thing about bourbon, it's not what I like. It's not what you like. It's what the individual likes. So you may hate this.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite pours, but whiskey and bourbon, it's an experience. And I remember the first time I had this pour was with one of my best friends came over, him and his family. He's got 4 little kids.
What'd they think of it?
The kid? Loved it.
But Kentucky, I'm not sure what's going on down here.
It's a little more lenient back here. We were outside, and it was pitch black. The kids were driving the Power Wheels, and we take the Power Wheels and we pull the battery out and we put a drill battery in. You ever done that?
No.
You can buy a kit on Amazon for like $13, but you take it from a 9-volt to an 18-volt, and the suckers
Heck just yeah, man, let's go.
We've got them outside. You can go. I mean, if you go on, you can't do it on grass, but yeah, you can do it around. But they were all out there and they were running around in circles and stuff. And my buddy, his name's Kelsey. Kelsey and I were just sitting there. It's the first time we had the pour, and so I remember getting a grape note. I remember getting grapes out of it, but I just remember the experience of just family. Man. The kids having fun, best buddies next to me. The wives were inside with the little ones, and that's what it's about. So, yeah, bourbon it's meant to be shared. It's meant to be enjoyed with people. So I hope you enjoy it.
All right. I get tell me if I'm right. Notes of vanilla. Is that my right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like a candle again. Gosh, man. So good.
I got the vanilla. At least I got vanilla right.
Vanilla, there's gonna be caramel. So a lot of bourbons, if they use rye, which not everyone does, but if you use rye, it's gonna give you a little peppery note.
Okay.
Since the 3rd or 4th grain is rye, you can pick up a little like pepper or some clove, some cinnamon clove.
Clove. My mama used to cook with clove. Had the whole house smell like clove. Yeah.
Really?
She put some in a pot, actually boil it just to make the house smell nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Okay, I can get the grape. Wow.
You got the grape?
Yeah, since you said it, I wouldn't have thought of it.
I like that.
Because you said it, I could taste it. Yeah.
That's a good pour. Dang.
Yeah, that's good, man. So what do you got going now since you sold the washes?
Yeah, so we sold the washes. We still have a full serve in Nicholasville, Kentucky. And the manager there, Ryan, runs it like it's his. And he's awesome, phenomenal. He's got a great assistant named Andrew. They're doing a heck of a job. And one of our former employees from a Preston site that we sold moved down to Nicholasville. He had some family, which cool. We're talking an hour and 15 away. And he's on the team. He's back on the team again.
Awesome.
So, yeah, Johnny's up there. There's a lot of good people. Kenny and Linda have been with us 17 years.
Yeah.
Up there, 18. Could be longer. If not, I might be butchering it. But we have that. I started Clementines, which is a touchless, unlimited, it's a Petit Dencar.
Touchless
combo.
Express.
Touchless Express. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we got a touchless Express. It's a 55-foot bay. It was originally a C-store, a Kroger car wash, and it was an unattended conveyor tunnel.
Mini tunnel.
A mini tunnel.
They're really trying to sell those things still.
This is from years ago, but you had to line yourself on the track. You had to pay I think it was a Hamilton. You had to pay, boop, 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 and then put it in neutral super fast and, go through. So we heard horror stories. I think it got to the point where it was a lot. It was far away from the operator's other sites. He's a great operator, but that site itself was not, wasn't doing too hot. Needed a lot of work. So we saw that, talked with you, talked with Petit. I met the guys from Dencar. And I talked to a lot of in-bay guys and decided it'd be a great touchless site. It's a town of 8,000 people. There are 2 touchless washes there now. And there's a 130-something foot tunnel with free vacs.
Just got built.
I did not know about it when I was building.
But a pretty normal story these days.
It's a pretty normal story, yeah. If I'd have done my homework and research, I didn't think anybody would build a tunnel out there.
It doesn't seem to be mattering.
No, it doesn't. But it worried me for a while. But no,
Sure.
we've done just fine. So concrete, we pulled the conveyor out. Dakota with Safari Solutions ended up doing all the work. Pulled the conveyor out, concreted the pit. We still saved some gratings and put some more long drains in. But it's a much smoother experience, and customers like it. And our branding, I think Christina knocked it out of the park.
She's got a lot of talent and skill.
Yeah, so we always used Tommy Vacs at Thomas, and we had the red balls. And then when I found out they came in any other color, it's like, look, they look like little oranges. So from that, I said, no, I'd always like a wash called Clementines. So you can remember it. It's an easy name. Yeah. And 10 years after that, we built our first Clementine site. But I think we're marketing to the women, they got all the buying power in the household. Mm-hmm. And I think you can tell it's a very feminine clientele. Yeah. Something that I probably didn't pay attention to back at the tunnel side. So, I think that's been pretty awesome. They got anyway. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
And to be clear, you're open 4 months and you're already tracking triple what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with the touchless in-bay.
With the tunnel
gone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, with the tunnel gone.
And with the tunnel that just got built across.
200 feet away. I don't know how far. 300, whatever. 2/10 of a mile. But, so we were building it. I found out about this tunnel after the fact. It was like, kept me up at night.
Yeah.
Was this a mistake? Was this why'd we do this? Why'd I sell? And it kind of just bled into a lot of regret. And the competition, we opened I had my 4th child in June. We opened, we had her June 5th. I think we opened like June 6th. I was asking you like, man, when's the right time to open?
Yeah.
And you kind of move the ball. We had a little ball blocking it. You're not going to have to do a whole lot. And truly, it's a lifestyle change. Like you don't have, it's not like a tunnel.
It's not like a tunnel.
And we weren't crazy busy. We were washing like 15, 20 a day. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew it was open.
It's a good soft open though. You want to do that.
It was.
You want a soft open. And no matter what you're doing.
Yep. The new tunnel down the street opened in November. We did see a dip. We run unlimiteds.
Yeah.
We do family plans. We're very aggressive in our pricing.
You opened in August.
We opened in August.
Yeah.
And we're tracking triple from
what he did.
The previous guy. Yeah. Today's been our busiest day yet.
Yeah.
I think we hit
150, 160 we got out of it today.
Yeah.
And still have some hours left in the day.
Single bay, touchless. You and I were there kind of hanging, talking to people for,
Yeah.
you know,
I love it.
Not super long, but yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, we get free air freshener. We get free vacuums, if you remember, with the Demcar relays. We've got free towels and window cleaner to use, not to take. And we just want a good, smooth experience for people, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it.
A lot to be said. I could talk forever about that. Marketing to females, the women clientele, the Planet Fitness model. There's a lot of borrowed philosophy that one can learn from Planet Fitness, that is for sure. If you really know what philosophy to look for.
How so?
So, I don't want to repeat myself too much because I probably talk about it on a lot of podcasts. But basically, well, you should talk about it. This is a very relaxed podcast. It's going to be a lot longer than normal, and this is the way I like it. So,
another bottle to go.
We got bottles to go. We can go all night. So,
yeah, I've got time.
You'll see my other YouTube channel. I was in Australia, and I was talking to some people in England, some people in Australia, and I hear, as a consultant, one thing you hear a lot: my market. And this guy wants to rip his hair out when he hears that. When I hear that term, I just want to yell, scream, because everybody thinks they have a unique problem. And some people do have a unique problem. Markets are a little different in Texas than they are in Alaska. Okay, but for the most part, people are the same. And when you hear my market, I get angry. So
I think I've said that to you a couple times, man. How about?
Probably.
Not bad.
But I want to digress 1 minute.
Yeah.
You're talking about females. I remember being at your site first time I was here at Hurstbourne. And I noticed, this is my first time I saw it. So my old wash, we had a lot of females. And we built it that way. And I didn't find out how unusual that was at the time. Because we were like 65%, I would guess. And there wasn't many at that specific site. Well, that was the only rock and roll. The other one wasn't open yet. And I remember we walked and I was talking to you. And I had a suspicion because they had a killer corner. Their corner was tough to turn. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I think it might be that corner. And a kid was walking by, young guy. Oh, yeah, my girlfriend doesn't come here because that corner.
Oh, you're talking the entrance. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, the fence.
We pulled in.
You got to move that fence, man.
The site was built in the 70s or 80s, and it was station wagons back then, small sedan. There were not. So, yes. Yeah, it was tight. It was a tight turn.
Yeah. Well, that's just an example. I didn't mean to digress, but it's important.
It is.
Like, females don't want to wield their cars different than men. Like, we can be a little bit more bothered because it doesn't bother us. We're just built differently. We think differently. And not all, there's a spectrum, but in general. But Planet Fitness, so, I was hearing from these guys in Australia, well, unlike America, we don't have the same, population you guys have, the same traffic counts, and they have people only wash on the weekends here. I was like, no, that's not it. So I researched. I was looking, and I even researched psychology in busyness. And actually, Australians are a few percent busier than Americans, believe it or not. Like the average person, even the female is a little bit busier than the average American. We're busy. Like things are getting tight, we're busy, but they're actually statistically a little bit busier. I was like, okay. Right. So I go down there, and then I was looking up the traffic counts, the populations of these specific areas, and they had better stuff than I'm used to in Northeast Ohio, because we have some rural stuff in Northeast Ohio that are doing 5-10 times the numbers they're doing out there. Really? Okay. I was like, guys, it ain't your traffic count. It's not the population. Your people are the same. People think the same. So went on some location, and I'm watching this car in Mbay. I was asked to speak at the Australian Car Wash show specifically about M-Bays. So that's why I'm talking a little bit about M-Bays, but again, psychology is the same.
You did a good job, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Great.
That was fun. That was fun. So we're watching this car right at M-Bay, and they're to average like 7 minutes. And there's this car in line. Getting around and rip my hair out. Guys, I planned the speech. I did the research. I came down as confirming. You know why they only come on the weekends? Because no one else has time during the weekdays to wash. You can't sit in line after you've worked all day. You have to pick up grocery stores for the kids. You have to pick someone else up from school. You can't wait in line 35 minutes because you're 2.5 cars, 3 cars deep.
Yeah.
That's the most plain insane thing in the world. It's about speed.
That people's most precious asset is time.
Exactly. You got to crank this stuff up.
Yeah.
And then, the ease of use as well. And so what I brought to that speech and what I bring to everybody is like, okay, I'm going to stick to it. It wasn't just because of speech. I think it's the best analogy I personally can come up with. I have limitations like everybody else. My best analogy I come up with is, and this works pretty well, it's like, okay, when you think of fitness, you're a little younger, but most people my age, when you think of fitness, like the word fitness, who do you think of? Picture one person. Who do you picture?
Fitness. Billy Banks.
Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh no, the Tae Bo guy. Remember Tae Bo?
Remember Tae Bo?
Billy Banks. Billy Banks. Yeah.
All right, well, anyway, most people.
Sorry, Schwarzenegger too.
Schwarzenegger too.
Yeah, okay.
I think of Schwarzenegger. A lot of people, even in the crowd, like everybody thought Schwarzenegger. But Billy Blank, do you ever do Tae Bo?
Never once.
Embarrassingly, I will admit it here on podcast. I used to do Billy Blanks. Had the VHS in there. I could even do it now. I could do it.
My wife's family did. I'd go, when we were dating, I'd go downstairs and it was on.
So Tae Bo?
No. P90X. P90X was them, but
see, that's too modern.
Yeah,
Billy Blanks is Tae Bo, man.
Is it?
Oh yeah, that's legit.
No, I know. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry. But I thought it was all same time period. Okay.
Yeah, that's modern stuff. Anyway, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and a lot of people relate bodybuilders, right? You think of fitness, think of bodybuilder, and this entity came to exist called Planet Fitness, and this planet, which is all encompassing. If you look deep in the definitions, and Planet Fitness, you think it should just be people of just the perfect specimens. And you Google and use some AI, and actually it's public, their marketing strategy. And you go to the marketing strategy, to look at the pictures of the marketing strategy. It's a 65-year-old gray-haired woman with another guy that's like 45 years old. It's about not being intimidating.
They got that alarm.
What's that?
They got that alarm.
Yeah, if you drop alarm. Something. Yeah, you get too crazy, you're going to hit alarm. Yeah. So the point of all that is car washers have a complete different idea, because there's still a lot of hardcore gyms around, right? And think of any hardcore gym in any city, they're probably making so much money. Planet Fitness is making 5-10 times more. Okay?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to look a little bit better. Everyone wants to be a little bit healthier, but they made it accessible. And for car washing, we don't have to get the absolute perfect car. Yeah, it has to be a clean car. And yes, we want a perfect car. I'm not saying don't strive for that. It's about accessibility. And accessibility has a lot to do with speed. It has a lot to do with ease and comfort. So it's accessibility, comfortable, speed, convenience. Those are the things. I didn't mention car wash. I didn't mention cleaning any of those. Now, clean does have a safety factor. It is related to a lot of stuff, especially for females. A cleaner place, it means it's taken care of. Taken care of means it's safe because there's someone there. Like there's a lot of psychology goes in that too. So the place has to be clean. But the car being clean has to be clean. It don't have to be perfect.
So what is clean? That's been the hardest transition point. What is clean?
Right now, you're a person asking, "What's the perfect body?" That's not what people are going for.
Oh yeah.
You just ask, "What is clean?" Is asking, "How do I look like Schwarzenegger?"
Yeah.
The people don't care. Yeah. They don't want to look like Schwarzenegger.
My friends tell me like, "You're looking through the lens of a car washer, man. Relax." But going from a friction environment, a tunnel.
A good tunnel. I see. I'm in a lot of bad tunnels.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
I see in-bay do better tunnels a lot.
Going from that,
yeah.
I mean, you can spit on a car and hit it with some foam, and it comes clean.
Yeah.
I think it's been very humbling to get into the in-bay game, not being able to clean like I thought I'd be able to clean, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I've been doing this a while, and I think I thought lesser of in-bays in general.
Sure.
And in-bay owners.
Typical for...
It was a very, very, this is a bad spot for me to be in, but that's how I thought. So that has been a very, like I said, humbling and hard to adapt to this type of thing.
Sure.
But yes, I'm trying to figure out the time spent in the tunnel, in the bay. Tunnel, in the bay, and the quality. So everything's value, right?
Everything's value. Yeah.
Price, experience, quality. That all comes out to value. And what's the value the customer's looking for? And I think we're giving value.
You are.
Thank you.
It's a great location.
I appreciate you coming and telling me that, because I've been pulling my hair out doing just that thinking up at night. And we're not putting out a dirty car.
No.
But in my mind,
it's not as good as your tunnel was.
That's the hardest transition point. So the customers are speaking, putting out a clean one. There's a tunnel down the street that's putting out a dynamite car. But why are they coming to us?
Yep.
It was hard for me to be like, why would they come to us? But they're doing it.
They're doing it.
All those reasons.
And you're asking these questions. This is great. You're asking these questions as a bodybuilder who bought a Planet Fitness.
So nice of you to call it. Thank you. I feel like a bodybuilder sometimes.
Yeah, all right, man. Yeah, let's work on that. We were good for our age. We look great for our age.
Yeah. You get any butterscotch?
And Mike probably picked me up just scarfing that thing now because it's good. It tastes good.
4 grains of good porter.
So
I like it.
You're a bodybuilder. Seeing these people come to your site is all good.
Yeah, they might come in. My kids are.
It's all good. It's family event here. So you're a bodybuilder asking like, we don't have a squat machine. Why would anybody come here? We don't have a squat machine. You got a Smith machine. That's good enough for everybody. We don't need a squat machine.
Yeah.
You know, and because you're seasoned, you're third generation, you've been literally doing this since you're an infant. So you want a perfect cart, and I get it. And again, I'm not saying no strive to that. It's just not highest on the list. Sometimes selling equipment, people ask, well, how clean is it? And they'll ask, I do some sales for like a touchless system, no commissions ever. And they, how clean is it? It's going to be as clean as tunnel? No, not going to be clean as friction. Now, as a good friction, again, I genuinely see somebody's touchless put out a better machine than a friction. Really. But there's a good tunnel? No, it's not going to be as clean as a good tunnel. But no claims, still a good car, very universal. And another thing that people don't realize when you have a good friction, a decent friction, is certain parts of the mitters or the brushes won't get. Like little V behind the rear window. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing with chemistry and pre-soak and all that stuff, you're not going to get that either. And when a customer comes out and look at the car and they see parts that where the friction didn't touch and it's like dirty, so to them it's a dirty car. When maybe a really good touchless is maybe the whole car's 10%, 5% less clean to the average Planet Fitness person. Oh, it looks great. And they're on their way.
It is, yeah. It is strange. We used to talk when we were in the tunnel. I had a manager, Mike. I've learned so much from him.
Yeah.
I talked to him today. But we parted ways maybe 4 years ago. And it's great to catch up with each other. He's a chemist, bathtub blender, started his own chemistry company.
Good at what he does.
Awesome. Still uses, sells his stuff today, and it's very strong, very good stuff. But he was our operations manager for a couple of years, and him and I would butt heads all the time. No, it's not clean enough.
Coming here.
Yeah, he's got a very gritty Indiana voice, but and I would say it's clean. That's not clean. So the question was, what is clean? And that's a real question to ask. Clean is a spectrum. You can be clean,
it is,
and you can be clean. What is it? So you got to figure out what is clean. We're putting out a clean car. It wasn't clean in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of thinking like that.
Yeah.
Like, what is clean? Customers are saying we're clean. Would a car washer say it's clean? It depends who you ask.
Exactly.
But now we're putting out a clean car. I just got a new 4Runner.
Yeah, black.
Black, yeah. I'm going to say, 6 months ago?
Yep.
I got 4 kids now. Had to get rid of the Wrangler.
Yep.
Could only fit 5 total.
Well, you wanted to get home, too.
That was a rough, the steering snap. My wife was driving it.
You didn't want to murder your kids on accident. Or...
So sketchy, man.
Yeah.
But it was an awesome car. So anyway, haven't ran it through a friction tunnel yet. And I do see swirls on cars and stuff. And we would swirl cars, and we never tried to argue. Yeah. If a customer said anything, we'd buff it out. It's easy to buff out.
Yeah.
You can go to a new car lot and see swirls on cars, and all it is the clear coat, shrinking and expanding. But, and this is a tangent, I'm sorry. Customers ask me, like, those things down the street, they swirl, right? And I don't know why I put a country accent. We're in Kentucky, so maybe everybody talks like that. Those things down the street swirl. Yes, but it's they can.
Yeah. You're very empathetic because you're a tunnel guy, so you're not.
I know,
you're not smoking a guy down the street.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to get on the bandwagon of they scratch cars.
Yeah.
So we're a little hesitant on marketing that way, but I do notice swirls now, and I never paid attention to it, or I'd see it and didn't. It's like, well, it's clean.
Yeah.
So what? I do see that now, and a lot of customers see that, and they see it better than us than we would have. It's something I never really noticed.
Oh man! And he has a black vehicle, and it was fairly dirty. I would say it was very dirty. We washed it today. We came through. It looked good. And you were concerned about it because it isn't perfect. It looks good. Very good. I would put it very good. Now, again, I know you could adjust the chemicals a little bit and make it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But we're also in a certain season where we got to punch these cars out.
Yeah.
So different seasons with at least the equipment I kind of play around with, you can focus on certain areas of the car a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You can change things a little bit during the season. When you get bug season, it's not going to be as busy as this season, but you can slow it down on the front and work on the bugs a little bit more. Mm-hmm. There's things you could do, but you got a very good car. It's not a perfect car. It's a very good car. And obviously your numbers, you're doing in 4 months you're doing triple what the other guy did. You know, you can easily hit a max of this machine and punch out a lot of cars. You know, you could be doing 150, 200 cars a day out of a moderately long, I wouldn't call it a long bay, but it's kind of right between a short bay and a long bay.
Mid bay.
Yeah, mid bay.
A little mid bay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a cool transition. It has been hard.
Yeah.
I think a lot of tunnel guys, if they were to go this route,
It is hard for tunnel
feel
guys.
like that's going to be their biggest, hurdle. Yeah. You see on a lot of the forums, a lot of people saying like, well, I'm a former tunnel operator, so I want to put out a dynamite car, and then that's okay.
Yeah.
It's customer preference, it's owner preference. I feel like we're giving the customer value the way we're doing it now, and I'm still going to continue to tweak chemistry.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're definitely getting the customer value, and it's definitely a curve because it's just a whole different ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what do they value? So, well, first of all, I have to comment. I used to be certified detail and everything as well. I mean, I've been a car guy my whole life, mostly in repair, but only 10 years in car washing, but 20 years in repair. And your cars does not have any swirls. It looks perfect.
isn't that cool?
It is cool.
Yeah.
It looks perfect. So it was clean. It looked perfect. And this black vehicle, it's hard to keep a black vehicle clean, and it looks great.
That's why I got a black one.
I know. And now if you went through friction, it would not look like waste. Only having a couple months, it wouldn't look like it at all. I used to buff my black. I had an older black Lexus.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
How long ago?
So 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Then I had a little Prius that got made fun of. You remember that too?
Cool.
Yeah. But I would buff it to glass, and I would go to some of my best clients, my tunnel clients. It was all tunnel clients back then. And one time through, and I look at a light, see that micro scratch, and you're like, man, I just buffed this thing to glass. It was perfect. And it's there.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating for me. Now, again, I was still a tunnel consultant, so I still do what I have to do. But what if you don't have to have that? You know?
Not to take away. I never want to throw shade at tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to throw shade at a friction wash, because we're still in it. That's how we made our bread and butter.
And I'm talking like Schwarzenegger again. Most people don't care.
Most people don't care.
Yeah.
200,000 a year at Hirschborn.
Yeah.
Did not care.
Yeah.
Right. But it's something that the customer does see, and we have to recognize that in the industry.
Yeah.
So whether I think it's
there's a segment that cares.
There is.
There's a bigger segment that cares about the sensation of the car bumping something, the wheel bumping something bumping them, a car behind them, car in front of them, neutral. That's a bigger.
It is a higher
demographic.
stress environment, without a doubt. So yeah, just nice, well lit bay.
Yep. Wide.
No stress. You're the only one in at a time.
Yep.
Although Dakota's doing the 2-bay pedit.
Yeah.
I need to talk to him about that. That's
I haven't been down there yet.
I went down there. It's super cool.
Okay.
So yeah,
He's an innovator.
he's awesome, man.
His innovation is his middle name.
Yeah, he's a sweet guy. We talked today. He helped me through a back problem. But yeah, I think just having a single car in the bay, it's a load of stress that's just not there.
Yep.
So yeah.
Cool deal.
Yeah, cool deal.
Cool deal. So what's next for Thomas and Clementine?
We may do another Thomas tunnel when our non-compete's up in the area. Pretty excited about that. I do miss a lot of that. I do miss that. I liked having a team. We are in the middle of doing another Clementine's. So we're doing a long bay. So the current one we have is 55 foot. The long bay is 115, 120 foot.
Old tunnel.
Customer will be able to dry while the other one's being washed. So I think it's going to be you're speeding it up a minute a person, which sounds silly, but you're talking what?
Oh, it's big. It's big time.
Big time.
That's 10, 20,000 cars a year.
Yeah. Yep. So, and we do the monthlies. We got that site. I'm looking at other sites. I think the key is buying sites that need rehab and spinning them up.
It is.
Yeah. I don't think just building is so expensive.
We talked about ROI. Him and I were talking about ROI earlier because I know a company that has 9 bays, and they did what a really successful tunnel would do last year. And they averaged total labor was probably 80 to, I would say, 100, 120 hours a week total labor. Watching
Pretty low.
watching what a really successful tunnel would do. Mm-hmm. Now, we talked about, well, how much would it cost?
Yeah, what does it cost to build 9 bays?
Yeah, exactly. So building new, what it cost just a couple of years ago is a lot different than what it costs now.
Sure.
So there's a lot of arguments. You know, you could build a 4 or 6 bay that can do what a tunnel could do. It'd probably be about the same money. Mm-hmm. It's just a labor factor. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the labor factor and the shape of the land.
Sure.
But the labor thing, man, when you have 2.5 people do that kind of volume throughout the year,
it's enticing.
It's enticing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I'm not ruling out tunnels in the future.
Yeah.
But I think we've got something good going on with Clementines. Small team, it's just my cousin Christina and I.
Yeah.
It's just us two. We plan on bringing somebody in, good buddy, when we hit hopefully this site, if not the next site. But we'll still have a very lean team.
Yeah.
We run on EOS, which has helped us. Super, super lean labor model as well as just a management team. And I think I'm trailing off here. But
well, first of all, I trailed off on accident.
Mm-mm.
Right now, at the time of shooting, there's enough out there. I think rehab is the answer for most people.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of went on that tangent. I didn't finish my thought. Rehabbing is definitely an answer, and there's a lot of reasons for that. There's so many tunnels. Let them fight each other, but also there's a lot of tunnels that most would consider a C site or less.
Sure.
And you could turn that into an in bay and be an A+ in bay site from a C tunnel, and you're zoned, slam it out. It can knock it out in a very inexpensive way, and be in a good shape. And you do 3 or 4 of those, a couple hour radius, or maybe 5 or 6 of those in a couple hour radius. I personally know of a guy that has a fair amount of washes, and last year a single bay and a single bay he owns, they're 1.6 miles apart. And between the two of them, he did 106,000 cars last year. You could have 20 hours of labor run that.
Yeah.
20 hours of labor could run that. You watch 106,000 cars.
Yeah.
1.6 miles. Now, that's possible. What's that?
It's got pretty sites.
Oh,
they look really nice.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of that single area knows those washes, so they trust them. But at this point, I think rehabbing's typically a really good answer because there's a lot out there. Mm-hmm. Again, we're talking a little bit more about in-bay. To rehab a tunnel to tunnel, and it may not make sense because if you have that C-site, the tunnel, and you have to put, instead of putting 400,000 into it, you got to put 800,000 or $1 million into it, new conveyor and all this crap, then it may not make sense. But turn it into an in-bay, it starts to make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rehab opportunities,
for
sure, and things ebb and flow.
In competition-wise, they're kind of under the radar. I mean, not a lot of people. I take that back. This is probably my mind, but as a tunnel operator, like I said, I would drive by in-bay sites and just I wouldn't pay attention to them.
Me too.
I wouldn't think what they bring in, wouldn't think, just tunnel cockiness, tunnel arrogance.
I mean, 5-6 years ago, I didn't know a thing about in-bays. Mm-hmm. I was a tunnel guy running around, and when it came to in-bays, people asking me numbers. I don't know, is that good? I had to start learning it. But after I learned it, there's something happening here. And then you do the right equipment with monthlies. Any in-bay is doing, you realize you could do double or triple that with just changing equipment and putting monthlies in. Yep. In the real world, it's like, okay, it starts to make a lot of sense.
When everyone's moving left, you move right. It's it slips under the radar.
Yeah, there's people
big opportunity.
Quietly making a lot of money, quietly, with a little fleet of in-bays. And again, it's quiet. People aren't paying attention to them, and it's very minimal labor. That's very appealing. Mm-hmm. So to explain EOS, what's EOS?
EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Okay.
We got our little EOS.
Is that what this is?
Coasters, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Got any EOS person you want to
plug? Zach Wardlaw. He is our EOS implementer. He lives across the street. Gave me a nice bottle of bourbon sitting up there. We should have cracked that today.
All right.
Good dude. He approached me one day. We'd been neighbors for a couple of years. And he said, hey, and he knew about the wash. He was he's always asking about the business, how it's going. Always encouraging. And I never knew what he did. He was just now getting into it at the time. And he said, have you heard of EOS? I was like, no. And then he told me about it. We had a meeting. And I said, this might help us really well. So what it is, it's basically like, I know you talk about Patrick Lencioni a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lencioni, I don't know.
Lencioni.
Lencioni. So it's got aspects of what Lencioni teaches, aspects of, so right people, right seats, right? Aspects of, so they got tools called like the Colby to see, you just measure a whole lot of different things.
Yeah.
They have a form of issue processing, which was the biggest plus for us.
Explain that.
So EOS has 20 tools, right? And we never got through all the tools. We didn't need it. There was only 2 people on the leadership team. We didn't need all the tools that EOS offered.
Makes sense.
So you have an implementer. There's a lot of implementers around Louisville. There's probably a lot, where you live, just look into it. But for car washing, for us at least, we had a lot of small issues because we had a lot of people. We have a lot of people. A lot of your issues are going to be people related.
Sure.
Right? In Bay, we don't. There's just not a lot of issues. But we still run Clementines on EOS. And one of the aspects of EOS is you have level 10 meetings. They call them level 10 because they want you rated a 10 out of 10. Same time, same place, typically. Every week, we want you to rate this meeting you just had a level 10. So we have our level 10 meetings every Monday. And one of the things that takes long is IDSing, issue processing, identify, discuss, solve, IDS, I believe. So EOS turned us into just an issue processing machine.
Accountability.
Accountability, for sure. Solving issues that I would normally put on a Post-it and stick somewhere and it'd fall back. It made us solve the issue then. And you put time away to solve it. It's the marginal gains.
Yeah.
You solve this issue, but you don't think about it. You solve this issue, it's going to help you. You solve this one, it's going to help you. And
It's gold.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised. It breeds honesty in the company. It brings out...
Drive out fear, Dr. Deming, rule number 8.
Yeah. I need to look into him more, man.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to
where
him.
all this comes from. Well, a lot of it comes from.
So EOS probably has a lot of Deming, runoff from it. But EOS for us, you have your management team, you have your owner's box. If the owners aren't necessarily involved in the day-to-day but want to be involved in the business, it seems like it works well for us, but I think it worked well for car washing.
Raving a lot about it when you started doing it, so
it just cleaned everything up.
Good.
And one of the big things, right people, right seats.
Yeah.
It lets you see, like, is this person supposed to be in this spot? No. But why not? Do they get it, want it, have the capacity? No. You got to get them out of there.
Yeah.
You get them into a role where they'd be better and be happier. And sometimes people want to be demoted, but they're happier. They didn't want to handle what they were handling, so they're in a better place, better for you as a company.
Yep.
Yeah, big fan of EOS.
That's good, man. Mm-hmm. Right people, right seat. That's a big deal. I have most of my clients take Myers-Briggs before I visit them, and you guys did. So what when you first what was your thoughts when I first, hey, you and your team take this before I come down?
I thought it was awesome. I was like, yeah,
okay.
I thought it was very cool.
It freaks some people out.
I think change is hard.
Yeah.
And realizing why you suck at something.
Yeah.
Scientifically, taking Myers-Briggs. Oh, I don't get along with people because I don't trust people because of my personality. But I thought it was awesome. I remember one thing that came from it. We had an employee, Aiden. Awesome. He's a young kid, awesome guy. I thought he was happy in his role. We weren't necessarily an honest company, or there wasn't room for him to grow that quick. But he took the Myers-Briggs. It's 16 personalities is the one you use. Yeah. He took it, and I'm going to forget how he tested, but whatever thing came out said that he liked basically to work with his hands. And I figured he was just a gamer and not interested. And took the test. We talked about it. I said, man, do you want to work on stuff? He's like, I'd love to learn. And I think it was a week later, the track broke, the chain broke. He was in the pit, sitting there fixing the chain. Yep. And he wouldn't have done it if we didn't teach him, because we didn't know he wanted to learn until he took the test. That was just a small example. It does show you who'd be a good leader in your company for a certain spot. I was called the campaigner, and I just wanted people to get along. My Enneagram is type 9, the caregiver or whatever it's called. But yeah, I just want people to get along. I was very good and very empathetic, and I think it goes into taking over a legacy business. I come in, I can't kick stuff against the wall.
We're opening a can of worms here.
I know. I needed to get what I wanted to get across, but still, this guy's been with us 40 years. I can't negate what he says, kick him to the side. He needs to feel a part of the team because he is a part of the team. And so I had to figure out a way to bring all these people together. That, and I grew up with 3 sisters. There's just a lot of estrogen in the house. You learn how to get along with people. And no brothers. I was the only boy. But it makes sense why my personality got molded.
Yeah.
To be a campaigner. I don't know the letters. Ian. I don't know.
Robin would know, but I forget off the top of my head. Yeah, that's how she thinks. I think in cars, she thinks of Myers-Briggs. See, let's play that out though. So first of all, anybody who's involved in a family business, I mean, I've been involved in family businesses, not my family, but other family businesses my whole life. So I empathized, and I know you do, with family businesses are tough.
Yeah.
We know it's tough. So you're just talking about on the ground, but what you're not talking about is you have, father, uncle, aunts, you have all kinds of people. So not only do you have to keep the people working every single day happy, and you're kind of wired to keep people happy, but you also have to keep a lot of legacy people when you shifted, because you shifted to Express to begin with, and that was already super foreign to people who've run full service their whole lives. All right, and then your Express was outpacing all the other washes, all your other washes by a significant margin. It was keeping all the other washes alive, and you have to not only please the locals, again, the local people at the washes, but you got to help this family. So that's important. But the thing is, when you find this stuff out, it's like, okay, this is what you're good at. None of this is bad. Myers-Briggs, there's no good or bad in it. This is just identifying, okay, this is what you're good at. That means you need to partner with someone who can kind of be a little bit more, I'm not authoritarian, but that's the best word I can come up with at the moment.
No.
There's probably a better word, but that's all I can do right now. But someone who could really help you make the decisions and partner with you and make the tough decisions. But someone who gets along, because you started to talk about it, is, again, you could shift people. You don't necessarily have to fire people. And there is a time you have to fire people. And when you're growing a business and you're making a business much better, if people can't keep up, there is a time and place. You have a huge heart. Your family has a huge heart. So you might be able to find another business they can be involved in, or again, another position they can be involved in. And I know you've done that. But when you start to learn the strengths and weaknesses of people, rely on your strength, enhance your strength, try to work on the weaknesses, but enhance your strength, but partner with people.
Yeah.
That's what I like, the beauty of it. I know what I'm good at, what I'm bad at. I absolutely, there's nothing I enjoy more than working with people that are the exact opposite of me.
Yeah.
Because it works so well. If you just, if you're humble about it, it's so easy.
There's a lot of power saying you don't know. And if you don't know, it gains, you say, I don't know, it gains the trust of your team.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's just normal.
Yeah.
Hey, it gains the trust. And then you bring in somebody who does know, and you work well with them, and you take care of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if they're just better at it. Even if you both know, but they're just better at it. One of my colleagues, for one of the things I'm involved with, James, again, we were so opposite, it's hilarious. But
good dude.
It's peanut butter and jelly, man. Yeah. Like, he'll take some stuff that would just drive me nuts. He'll just handle it. And I'll handle stuff that would drive him crazy. And there's certain times we have to do things we don't like. That's just part of life. You still have to do things you don't like. You still have to do things you're not good at. It's just part of business, part of life, part of work.
Yep.
But the trick is minimizing that and getting in your zone of what you're good at and try to be a fire and just make that fire burn strong.
Yes. I think the Myers-Briggs helped a lot in that. And it showed why our managers were in that spot. It's kind of weird.
Oh, it's awesome.
And I could have, if I knew more of the Myers-Briggs before we took it, I could have pinpointed kind of like, I think he's going to be that to a certain degree. Not for everybody. But most of our managers were the consul.
Yeah.
Which is authoritative, tougher.
Yeah.
Something that they got stuff done. Something that I just couldn't be. I couldn't be tough. And maybe I had the luxury of being like, hey, can you handle that? So there is an element of that.
You made it work, and it could really work that way. That's good.
I did not like hard conversations. I did not. I thought being kind meant being nice. I always wanted to be kind. Being nice ended up, you're doing a disservice to somebody. If you're nice to an employee, they mess up. You don't say, hey, you don't teach them the right way. When they leave, or say it's a first job, when they go to their next job, you're not preparing them to do that next job. You're not doing them a favor now. it's worse. You might as well kick them.
Yeah.
You know, so being kind is telling them the right thing, the right way to do it.
The truth.
Yes, the truth. That took a long time for me to realize.
That's a Dave Ramsey. He articulates that very well.
Is it?
Yeah, in some of his books, Dave Ramsey talks about being nice is letting people know, hey, this isn't going to work out. This is going to work out. Let's put you on a different seat of the bus, or you're going to have to go to a different bus. That's all there's to it. And maturing helps us. I never really wanted to have the hard conversations either, but that's part of maturing as well. And all of us have to do that, no matter what personality. You can't. The Myers-Briggs is not an excuse to keep yourself in a certain place or not mature and never have hard conversations. Again, it's more of working in your strengths, but it's not an excuse just to stay where you're at. That's for sure. Our world has enough of that.
Yeah.
So,
big help.
Good stuff.
I'm anxious to take it. We were talking about it in a couple years to see if I've changed. Being away from the tunnel, I feel like I'm kind of shifting.
Interesting.
Because you're not born with it. You're not stuck with it per se.
There's different theories.
I don't think. I think you can. Everything's inherited, but can change.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll bet you money. I'll bet you a bottle.
Well,
I'll bet you a bottle.
Again, we'll have Robin diagnose you. I don't trust the websites.
Well, all right.
I happen to marry a Myers-Briggs expert. So
I wouldn't question her.
Yeah, I can't question her. She knows this inside and out. Let's open your third bottle here.
Let's do it.
All right. First of all,
yes,
I appreciate what you said about just different tastes, because I'm not trying to correlate it with Myers-Briggs, but like that first one, I appreciate both of them. I really like that first one better.
Yeah.
But you like the second one better. It's just cool. I love that everybody's different. Makes me happy.
The experience. When I drink it, I remember hanging out with my buddy.
Yeah.
You know, for the first one. Second one, I'd come home from work. I'd drink down
the first one.
The first one. The Blade and Bow. And I only drink if I'm with somebody.
All right.
I've got 100, I don't know. I got too many bottles.
Yeah.
But it's really easy to come down and have a drink just kind of at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a safe thing.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I only drink with a friend. I sold 60 bottles pretty recently.
Okay.
For 50. I don't know. We're trying to sell them. I've got more than I can drink in my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
With buddy. So anyway.
No, that's wise. I think there's wisdom in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
This is helpful. 4-grain experience. And I love how you said you got that clove.
Oh, yeah.
And you flash back. When did your mom cook with clove? How many years ago?
Oh, yeah, when I was a little kid. And again, she would not only cook ham with it, but she would, old school. She would just put it in a pot and just to make the house smell good. Just cook a clove in water, like a little bit of water, and put it on the oven or on the stove.
That's a great idea.
Oh, yeah, it smells amazing. The whole house, clove smells good.
When's the last time you thought of that?
Oh, I have no idea. Anytime I hear clove, how often do you hear someone cooking with clove? It's a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time.
That's cool.
It's like fresh baked bread, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good stuff.
So you might get a note of fresh baked bread out of any of these.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bread is you're using grains. So
that makes sense.
This bottle I bought for the sale of the wash. I saved up, splurged. This is one of my favorite bottles. Hope you enjoy it. This is Michter's 20-year. Michter's is a company out of Louisville, and their slogan is "Cost be damned."
Nice.
They don't care what it costs. They don't care what it takes. They've got an awesome team, and they do it right. Now, for years, they sourced, so they bought. You're not supposed to know where they bought it from, but they would buy the distillate, the aged distillate, or they age it and blend it differently wherever. So now they're starting to do their own stuff. This is an awesome bottle from people who really care.
Wow, that's cool.
You can taste.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, yeah. No Planet Fitness here, guys. No that crap.
No, Michter's 20. This is a nice little pour. Hope you enjoy it. If you don't, that's cool too.
Well, anything of quality, I doubt I won't enjoy it.
Cost be damned.
Oh man, that smells really good.
The master distiller, the one who takes the distillate and ages it, gets a whole lot of credit, but the master blender doesn't necessarily get a lot of credit. But the blender takes all the barrels, figures out which drops work best to make a nice bottle.
Yeah.
Her name's Andrea. I forget her last name. She is a dynamite blender. But that being said, awesome team at Michter's, man. Yeah. Man. It's got a cool story. If you look up, it was Shanks, Bomburgers, which they now...
SH or SCH?
SH.
Okay.
ENKS. Shanks.
Okay.
And so they have a bottle called Shanks, got a bottle called Bomburgers, kind of going back to the old guard. Michter's was named after the dude who owned it at the time. His son, Michael and Peter. So Michter. He just came up with the name.
Nice.
But it's an old company. So, dark cherry.
I like the darkness of it's darker.
Yeah, you'll start to see. Anything aged, obviously, the darker it gets from being in that barrel. So, in the summer, it expands into the wood barrel. In the winter, it contracts out.
Okay.
So you think 4 years, depending on how hot and cold it got in that climate in those 4 years, it's soaking into the wood, out of the wood, into the wood, and at that contraction and expansion is what gives the barrel the ability to flavor the distillate.
Yeah. Okay.
In Texas, it's rumored that my kids are on. In Texas, it's rumored that every 1 year in Texas is worth 4 years of aging in Kentucky because it's just so hot.
Huh.
And so it expands. And so there's a company, they make it's called Cowboy Bourbon. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking here. But if you age it 4 years, it actually tastes like 16 years.
So they barrel it here, send it out there, and then bring it back?
No, they could, but this is just a Texas company that's doing it.
So how is it still bourbon, right?
It doesn't have to be Kentucky.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought, okay.
It has to be America. It doesn't have to be Kentucky.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, Kentucky people might say that, but most are cool.
All right. I did not know. Yeah, I thought it was a Kentucky thing.
Kentucky bourbon has to be Kentucky, but that's just the name. Yeah. Gosh. It's a dark chocolate cherry.
Way richer than the other stuff. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you can correct me. I'm a rookie. All right.
No. So E.H. Taylor is a Buffalo Trace product. Blade & Bow is a Diageo. This is Michter's.
Okay.
Frankfurt, Louisville.
It's like a dessert.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a
nice
dessert. It reminds me of again, folks, forgive me. It reminds me of a port, but like a bourbon version of a port.
I had a port for the first time last year.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Went to a nice restaurant and my buddy ordered a port. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's wine aged in Scotch barrels.
Yeah. Super rich.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't that. I'm not saying, but it reminds me of a bourbon version of it.
Love that.
A dessert bourbon. Wow. That's cool.
It's a good one. Yeah. So we knew the sale was coming. I wanted something to celebrate with, and ended up opening it with some buddies.
Yeah.
We had a great night. I've
Cool.
sipped it with my brothers-in-law, and this is a cool bottle. So
Yeah, it's a cool bottle. Yeah. So give us some. You've been involved in a family business your whole life. What are some tips for some people in family businesses?
Know the hierarchy. Put ego behind you. For us, I think it was a blessing. We come from an Eastern background. We're an Arabic family.
Okay.
Mother's Syrian, dad's Lebanese, 100% Arabic. But it's very much kind of unlike America. Not all Americans, but the elderly. There's just a lot of respect to your elders in Eastern countries, and a lot more accountability to younger people in respect to the older generation. So on paper, my dad and uncle were equal owners, all because of what I was given, right? They paved the way. Their father and uncles paved the way. But on paper, we were the same, but they'll be my forever bosses, Okay. And so there was a hierarchy. And if you're going to get into partnership with somebody, family business or not, I would not make it equal ownership. I'd figure out a way to make ownership a little off so someone can kind of trump the other.
Okay.
That's my philosophy moving forward. But one of my biggest motivators in working was guilt. I was guilty for everything. I felt guilt for everything I was given. And just a legacy business, I was not going to let that go to dirt.
Yeah.
So I think that was my biggest motivator.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make them proud.
Yeah.
So we had a really good we have a really good relationship. I talk to Dad every day.
Yeah.
Uncle Mike and I, we get together with Dad every Tuesday. We have breakfast.
Good.
So we all stay close, and we're going to continue to do washes together in the future.
Yeah.
But I think having that hierarchy and having that, what they say goes, that worked for us. Dad also gave me the leniency and trusted me well enough to say, you can do it, let's see what happens. And he let me fail, which I'm having kids now. I'm finding out it's hard to watch your kid fail. But I think that was he let me try it, see if it worked. He probably knew it would or wouldn't work. Not with everything. There were some things I did that surprised him. But, having a hierarchy and knowing your role and knowing even though if you're in a family business, your father, your parent, whoever came before you, their ceiling is going to be your floor for knowledge, right?
Yeah.
The most they knew, they'll pass down to you.
Yep.
That'll be your floor. And then you take that higher, and then your ceiling is going to be, if your child joins, your child's floor. Yep. So I was given a leg up, I feel. I don't know everything, and I certainly don't know, more than anybody else. Yeah. But I was given the nice boost. Yeah. From that. So.
Do you think? I have a lot of whatever. I have a lot of theories. Hypotheses. Anyway, I have a lot of theories where do you feel the respect, you showing the great respect and reverence for them allowed more freedom for you?
Maybe, looking back on it. Okay. But that was expected of me, Okay. I think.
Doesn't matter, it was expected either way.
Didn't matter, yeah. That was, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'd never really bucked them on major things. There'd be small things where I had to get my point across. Yeah. Looking back on it, there were things that I was really pushy on that I didn't get my way, and I would have been wrong. Okay. And so that's when it was good to have the guys in front of you say, stop. Yeah. What are you doing? And then again, there's another thing with that friction. Now I want it that much more. So then I'm just that much pushier. So it was a good balance. And it wasn't easy if we argued at work to go home and sit at the dinner table and think about the same thing. And then my mom's just sitting there. Come on, boys. But I wouldn't trade her for the world. Yeah. My dad and I got to hang out for, 20 years? Yeah. So, like I said, he worked 7 days a week. I got to know him a lot better when I started working at the wash. Yeah. He wasn't an absentee father or anything like that, but we didn't spend a lot of time together. He'd come to all my baseball games. He'd come to golf tournaments. So he was always a part. But
he was busy.
He was busy.
Yeah.
He was busy. And, looking back, how blessed were we that we had a dad that worked 7 days a week? Yeah. Worked his booty off. Yeah. Just 100-degree heat on the asphalt.
Yep.
2-degree weather.
Yep. And getting in and out of cars.
Yes.
As a full serve.
Yeah. He was wearing the same uniform as everybody else. Nobody. The customers thought he was just a worker. Half of them. Yep. So that was cool. Seeing your dad be a humble guy. Was pretty cool.
Humility goes a long way. Yeah. So how was it when it came to the express model? Like, did you push for that, or is that something?
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember, we had a salesman in Ohio. Do you remember Brandon Jordan from DRB?
Oh yeah.
Brandon's awesome. Yeah. I don't think he's in the car wash industry anymore.
No, I don't think so.
He was our DRB rep at the time. We were using Tunnel Watch, the DOS.
That's what we had.
The DOS system.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We had Tunnel Watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, I'm sorry. We had the Windows version that was made to look like DOS.
Okay.
Because so many people were used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
It was Windows, but you had to and when we were buying Hurstbourne, it's from a company called Regal. They had the DRB pay station. They had the SiteWatch side. And all we had to do was rebrand and I think maybe buy new licensing. But we got the new Tunnel Watch controller. Anyway, when we were going to buy it, the wash we were buying was the busiest, most fantastic full serve that existed in the city.
Oh boy.
They had since converted to Express. Okay. So it was already an Express there. But back, I don't know, 5 years prior to when they were selling, was the coolest full serve. They put out a good product. They had a popcorn machine in there.
Heck yeah.
It was a flex. It was
Yeah, we were flex. We were flex.
I mean, they vacuumed in the back.
Yeah.
And towel dried out front. It was not flex. Excuse me. Customer got out. It was traditional full serve.
Okay.
Either way, this whole thing was, well, we got to take it full serve. If we get that wash, and we bought it kind of under the radar. It was not listed. It was, I think, I don't know if kindness went a long way. We were just, somebody gave us the opportunity to buy it under the radar. But anyway, oh, Alex, we got to take that full serve. We got to take that full serve. Was my dad and uncle were saying, because it would have been a successful dynamite full serve, busiest intersection in the city. We ended up going express, much to my pushing. Yeah. And going back to Brandon, Brandon talked to us about doing the monthly. Yeah. We were the first one in the city, I think, maybe not, but the first one to really try at it, to do the monthly membership. And at the time, DRB was calling it the triumvirate. It was. It was
never heard that.
It was the pay station, the ARM module, the automatic recharge module, and the RFID, I think. Okay. I could have got that wrong, but they called it the triumvirate. You can go back and...
That's hilarious.
I'm sure they got a record of it. But Brandon convinced us to do the monthlies. That was hard, trying to convince Dad to do monthlies. And convince the team. When we bought Regal, we had 2 guys that stayed on from Regal. Yeah. Trying to convince them was tough. It's tough. But we did it. Incredibly successful at it. And we ended up getting, a couple more sites after. Yeah. So yeah, this was 2015. Monthlies weren't, you think, it's only 10 years ago. Monthlies were not that big.
Yeah, I just started to consult in 16 or 17, I think, is when I... Okay. Yeah. That was... So it was a bit of a push to get them to go to. Yeah.
There's especially something new like that.
Yeah.
To go, not just go express and...
do monthlies.
They can pay $20 and come whenever they want. Yeah, what do you think?
How do you think it got them there?
Got them to allow me? Yeah. Just trust. Okay. Just trust. And I don't know. Just trusting your kid. Like I said, I was motivated by guilt. I was motivated by wanting that approval. Yeah. I think still, everybody wants people's approval. Okay. Some more than others. I wanted them to say, hey, good job. Yeah. Way to go. Good job. I saw you. So, I'm definitely not going to let that fail. Yeah. That's a tough one. But just trust. Just my dad trusted. I think.
It's good stuff, man. Mm-hmm. Well, I think, it's tough. And I met Uncle Mike and your father, and they have humility as well. Mm-hmm. And I can never stress enough. I think that's the superpower of life and business is humility. And if you don't have that, because I know a lot of family businesses, and you get the arrogance in there, just a little bit of overconfidence, and it's tougher. The more successful you are, the tougher it is, because why question yourself if you've been successful? Mm-hmm. It's really difficult to question yourself when you've been confident, you're making good calls, 5, 10, 15 years, you're making good calls, 20 years. Things shift. Things shift fast these days. Mm-hmm. And you got to be willing to accept that, willing to adapt. Yeah. And that shows a lot, them willing to do that.
Yeah, they were awesome. I say we. I mean, I say were. Yeah. But it's still, they are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Now, they probably struggle with this inmate model too then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is a change. It's a change for them. But like I said, going back to the cleaning aspect. Yeah. That's what we talk. We feel the same way. Yeah. We talk about it together. How can we get it cleaner? How can we get it cleaner? Yeah. It's just what we're used to. Yeah. Also, so we're taking one of our former sites that we did not sell.
You had to go sing to your kids? Yeah. Alex is being a normal guy. All right. That's awesome.
Molly wanted me to say I have a daughter who's 8.
Yes.
She's lovely.
She is lovely.
I have a son who's 6, Jack.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Awesome young man.
I have a son, Charlie, who's 4.5.
Great personality. Also an awesome young man. Yeah.
They all asked great questions. They were all excited to have you over for dinner.
Yeah, it's a good time.
They were asking. They loved your bear stories and lynx stories. And then we've got baby Ruth, who's 7 months.
Yeah.
She has a great smile.
Oh, so smiley, man. Just here to have a good time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't appreciate the time more hanging out with the family, and it's a good time, man. I have a great family, great wife.
It's cool. Ah, sweet baby Tae.
Yeah.
Tae's, she's awesome. So this room we're in, I think I started to tell you, is this used to be a spare bedroom.
Okay.
It's got a little sump pump back there. But during the year of the sale, it was a hard year. She knew it was taking a toll on me. It was just a lot of conflicting thoughts,
Yeah.
a lot of due diligence, a lot of work we had to do. And then still, you had to run the tunnels to bring in the money they were making that you said they were making in the sale. So
yeah, you couldn't slack off.
couldn't slack off. To do all that, then run a business was tough. But she saw it. She took this room and quietly, under the radar, renovated it,
Wow.
painted it, turned it into an office, a nice space. She knew I was losing my office. Turned it into a nice space. So it took a few weeks. I had no idea what was going on.
Wow.
And she took me down here one day and she said, "Hey, you want to eat some spaghetti in the basement?" I was like, "Yeah, love spaghetti. Love to eat it in the basement." And then we came in here, and this was the best gift I've ever got.
What a blessing, man. This is awesome.
So cool. So yeah,
Very cool.
And she told me she had some of my, we had some family members come over.
Yeah.
So a buddy from Bible study came and helped carry these big cabinets and desks and chairs down the stairs. She couldn't carry it.
Heck yeah.
She was pregnant at the time. And they helped put it together. So a lot of people came in to do this. It's a cool spot.
It's cool, man. Love the colors too.
Yeah.
The colors are awesome.
You know, little Clementine's green.
Yeah, Clementine's green. I can see it.
Yeah. No, she's a good woman. She's awesome. But good mom. But yeah, the kids wanted to say.
Yeah. Well, now
they existed.
They're on podcast forever now. Good stuff. Good stuff. What do you think the future of car washing is? Any idea?
Innovation continues to dominate.
Yeah.
It's never going to stop. I think a lot of these private equity companies that are out now, I think car washing is obviously just a means for them to make it. It's hot right now. I don't want to speculate, but a lot of them might not make it, and I think will be for sale eventually.
I've seen it happen before in
Yeah.
different sectors.
Yeah, and I think the mom and pop will come back.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a need for car washing. Everything's kind of cyclical. Full serve went out.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's
Still
always
need.
there's always going to be a need.
Yeah.
Always going to be a demand. It's hard. So, innovation could be robotics, vacuuming cars, cleaning windows.
Yep.
I don't know. In-bay seems like a pretty good option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the next 5-10 years, I think that's the easiest way. I think it's the most efficient way. That's probably the best way to get in the car washing right now. I think the next 5-10 years, in-bay is the answer, the proper answer, the best return on your investment. Considering all things, considering how to run a business, your insanity, labor, all kinds of aspects of it. I think it's a wise decision right now. I host a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, and
You talk to a lot of people.
I do talk to a lot of people, and they ask me, and I tell them, hey, I had the best time of my life running, helping run a tunnel with other good teams, just like you. It was a good team. Again, unforgettable because we accomplished something. Accomplished something super special that very few washers did at the time. And I'm confident in my skills running a team, being on a team. I would never do a tunnel right now. I mean, that's just, I think in-bay is just the answer. It just, again, the exact spot we're in, it's mostly labor related. It's just so hard of the way, we talked about entities, governments, and things a little bit different. Dr. Deming, one of many quotes is, you can't outwork a bad system.
Yeah.
And our system right now is designed is very much against labor.
Yes.
The way inflation is, the way how COVID changed things, how youth is being brought up. I'm not hating. I'm just explaining how youth is being brought up. When I was growing up in the 90s, I could work really hard a couple jobs, and I could save up and get a car. I could pay for my insurance. I had to work hard. I had to work really hard, but I could do it. Now, entry-level jobs, of course, I was never really in an entry-level job. I was pretty much skilled from the beginning because I was a mechanic and different things. But even entry-level, you could still do it. Now, entry-level, I could see being defeated because if you work 40 hours a week at entry-level, you can't afford a car or insurance in an apartment. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And not that you could afford all those entry level, but you could figure it out. Like, it's so hard to figure it out now. Things are just so expensive.
I think trades are going to make a huge
That helps
comeback.
a lot. Yeah,
I mean,
that does.
They're struggling now with young people.
Yeah.
Mike Rowe. You ever listen to Mike Rowe?
No, I know who he is, but
He's got an awesome organization, Mike Rowe Works.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to get people back in the trade, young people back in the trades. And I bring his name up. I listened to him pretty recently. So I think young people in trades is going to come back. Not to diminish college. I went to college. I enjoyed the experience, and I learned a lot. I didn't learn an iota of what I learned.
Relevant.
Being in a tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all, college seems to be, for me, a lot of higher ups. Theory. It's just a lot of theory. It's not actually people who manage a business saying, this is what I did. It's all in an office. This is theory, essentially. So I'd be thrilled if my kids went into a trade. Car washing. They love the car wash. I love taking them.
Yeah.
They'd come back and come to the wash, sweep up, earn $1 for a Lego, or I don't know. I think in-bays are a good option for now. Especially, we're developing a model to where someone could get into it for a relatively low fee.
Yeah.
Compared to a tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's something they can get in, and we would help with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very feasible.
It is feasible.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place to be right now. I also, I've no personal owners of different businesses who've bought and sold their own business, the same business, like 3 times, and watched people rail into the ground, get it for a third, sell for triple, get it for a third, sell for triple, and then lease back the land or something like that. Like, that's not uncommon, and it's really interesting. The private equity, and nothing against them. Everybody has their own niche. I don't understand their world. Mm-hmm. But it's funny what you hear what they do. Like you as a small business owner, okay, and your family, doing this since the 40s. Do you think your family has ever thrown money out the window at people? Or were they shrewd with labor? Were they shrewd with pay?
No, no. I think there was a lot of I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I think that we spent a lot more money thinking we were doing the right thing, trying to be kind, than being shrewd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just in our experience, no.
Okay.
Where were you going with that?
Well,
I mean, I think I know where you're going with that.
I don't see where there's much labor that you could trim.
Yeah.
Most of these private owned small businesses, there's not much labor you can trim.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's much labor in your area you can trim either.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nah. We ran a high labor model for Express.
Okay.
We were a high labor model. We always had the pay station area staffed. Mm-hmm. We had 2 prepping. We used to have 3 prepping. We took it down to 2.
Okay.
We always had a floater and then a manager. Mm-hmm. So we were a 4-man plus a manager crew any given time. Okay. At an Express.
Okay. But you were also super high volume at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to talk to customers. Mm-hmm. And,
it works for us.
Yeah. Work for you.
But I don't want to knock on private equity either. Success means different things to different people.
Yeah.
They're by money wise much more successful than us.
Yeah.
But what's success to you?
Well, first of all, I'm not even thinking about success for me, but money wise, there's a lot of shell game going on too. Like someone's gonna be left holding it. So they may be better at money temporarily, mm-hmm. but not long term.
Yes.
That's not really their MO.
I would say success is long term for us.
Yeah. I agree.
Be integrated into your community, mm-hmm. being helping others, being, why are we put here? You can go deep with it, but why are we put here? I thought my purpose was being at Thomas and having little micro connections with the team, with the community, and doing it well. Mm-hmm. And that brought purpose to me. I thought that was success, not selling, for whatever amount.
Yep.
Private equity just has different success level.
Yeah.
A different measure of success.
That's true.
So, they're doing well. Mm-hmm. They got a ton of money.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what is success to you? I want to know. You're a very driven guy.
I am an extremely driven guy. And it's...
I would consider you successful. I would say you're doing really well, and you're teaching a lot of people things. You're leaving a legacy of knowledge. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. To me, I have somehow continual improvement as part of my DNA. And I think most businesses, I just happen to be in car washing. What I teach is, it can go to any sector. And you asked me, we were talking earlier today about different things. Like, I don't care if it's convenience store, be a mechanic, retail. Like, I can apply this to anything. I just happen to be more credentialed in car washing because I had that period of my life, I had a lot of freedom. And when you give me freedom, I could be very successful with the right team. So that was good. I had a right team that was opposite people, and they were willing to listen, and they were willing to collaborate with what my knowledge I have.
Yeah, put ego behind.
Put ego behind it, and when that happens, it's lights out.
Yeah.
You know, but the driven, because I can see how things can be better, and I can see how so many things can be better, and let's just continually improve. The theory of marginal gains, I could be really good at that with any business and a team. It's just being on a team, doing something special. I want to be not out of insecurity. I just confident we can be better. If I have the right people around me, I'm confident we can be better than anybody else.
Yes, you were great at teaching us that, especially coming in and being like, that was wrong. But have you heard of the term Masagi?
I don't know if I have.
Did you read Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter?
No.
One of my favorite books.
Okay.
It's basically talks about this term anti-fragility.
Okay.
For your body wise, going to do a cold plunge, going to a sauna.
Yeah.
You're stressing your body to make you tougher.
Yeah.
Masagi is the term. I don't know. I'm assuming it's Asian, obviously, but I'm assuming Japanese culture. I could be wrong. You go through something incredibly hard that there is a high probability you will not make it.
Okay.
For me,
that sounds Japanese.
Yeah, it's a lot of David Goggins stuff.
Okay.
Just that dude runs ultra marathons and he'll yell at you all the time. But Masagi was if you go through a Masagi with a team, as in you build something, you work hard, you go through it together, you're bonded for life.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you were talking about that, I just kept thinking, man, I missed that book. I think I'm gonna go reread it.
Yeah.
Sidebar.
No, I agree. But I mean, that's if you get the team that you can see the vision and do it. And the most powerful success stories I have with myself, the teams I've been on, and the clients, I have a completely different outlook on goals than a lot of people. I like to look on goals of what you could control.
Yeah.
And you can't control someone says yes or no. You can't control if you get the sale. You can control how you pitch. You can control a lot of things in your own life. And because I had people ask me one time when I was in the middle of ramping up this wash, like, hey, so what's your goal today? I don't have a goal. And it threw this guy off like crazy, because I'm driven and he was driven and he's alpha, and I'm not really, I don't consider myself an alpha, I'm just driven. But he's like, what do you mean I have a goal? You have to have a goal. I was like, no, man, I can't control how many people say yes this monthly. I tell you what, though, put me out there, I'll show you what kind of relationships I bring. Yeah, I'm about building the relationships.
You came to consult for us, and we were selling maybe like 3 or 4 plans a day on a good day. You're like, yeah, dynamite. And you were out 30 minutes. It was like a sidebar.
I think it was 45 minutes.
It was like, we were talking. You were like, hey, I'll be right back. We didn't know what you were doing. You went and sold 11 plans in 30 minutes. I'm like, that's this guy. That's really cool. And it's not that we had not the right people in the right place. We just didn't stress it.
Yeah.
And we
every car, every time.
We didn't know. Yeah.
Every car, every time.
It's right. It's true. That was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was neat.
It's I don't know, it got me thinking. I just want to be a part of a team where there isn't limitations of leadership. I don't really subscribe to all his theories, but I think it's Maxwell had the law of the lid.
The lid?
The law of the lid. You only can go as high as the lid.
Oh, yeah.
And the leader's the lid. I kind of have a different outlook of that. The lid should know. So say the lid's the owner or general manager, whatever. The lid doesn't have to be the stopping point. They should know how to get out of the way. They can still be a lid. They can just be off to the side. Let us bubble up over here.
That's the ego.
That's the ego, man. That's why I preach humility, because I've always hit a ceiling with ego or insecurity, which is very much correlated together. Ego, insecurity, fear.
Peter Principle.
I don't know that.
Basically says people are promoted to their highest ability.
Okay.
So you promote somebody so far, this is their ability, they can't go higher. But it's kind of in that way, but I guess the owner won't get out of his way.
Yeah.
So it's different. Peter Principle would apply to employees.
Yeah. I find it's difficult for owners to, that's where I appreciate a couple things that you've done is with the Myers-Briggs and different things, like owners, you don't have to hand over ownership. You can keep what you're good at, stick what you're good at, but get out of the way of the people that can just, do something special for whatever business you have.
Yeah.
And the few owners I've worked with that can get out of the way enough for either their employees, myself, or whoever, and let the people take it, do something crazy with it, you're good to go. But if you can still own the company, you can still own the company. But a lot of owners can't do that. And now I empathize because a lot of people say we aren't an owner. I don't really want to be on that. My specialty is my specialty. I don't really want to be bothered by owning different things. I own my consultancy. But I mean, the owner, if they just know, if they're willing to get out of the way and let someone else take it. Yeah. And I've been also multiple times owners have let a couple key employees take it somewhere special. This is weird. They get really scared. And all of a sudden they try to take control again. And they don't understand how they got there. They think they understand, but they don't. That's something I run into. And it's really scary because now, and maybe from an owner's point of view, you can explain this, but these people are taking it special. It might be the money, it might be the recognition, but somehow they come back in. These other guys took it to where they didn't think it could go, and now they're trying to take control again. And they don't see the nuance of what these people do.
Yeah, and that could be a humility thing. Like, you want to get back in, take the glory, take the credit. I've been guilty of that. I've had my team do some good stuff, and then kind of like, we did it. Our haunted tunnel, one of our most elaborate.
That was amazing.
You were there.
That was the best.
That was really cool. So it was during COVID, and we weren't the first ones to do it, but we did it really big. We had a.
Well, that's why you called me.
Yes, I said, Jason. So they came to me.
Can I explain this real quick? You explain when it came to you.
No, I was on the outside of this.
All right.
I was. They asked me if they could do it.
And you emailed me.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, you've done this before? And instead of like throwing, I think you were expecting like 5 tips. I sent you a multi-page email.
You came.
And then you said, can you just come down? Can you just come down here?
They asked me, they said, Alex, we want to do a haunted tunnel. We think it'd do well. It'd bring in a lot of money. It was the Halloween of COVID. People weren't trick-or-treating.
The timing couldn't have been better. And I said, yeah, you can do it as long as I don't have to do anything. It was literally what I said. You can do it, but I'm not going to be involved. And my brother-in-law, Max, put out he's a video director. He used to do a bunch of like music videos. Now he's professional, by the term of the professional.
He's phenomenal. Family business. We've got so many talented people in our family. But so Max puts this video out. It's a 30-second YouTube spot, and quickly gains 100-something thousand views. And I'm like, we can't. It's gonna be a 2-day, 3-hour-a-day event. It was 6 hours total. Like, what are we doing? We had lines that were 4 hours long.
And some people drove 4 hours to get in the 4-hour line.
Dude, some of the coolest things. One,
Detroit.
I didn't know Detroit. I knew Chicago.
There was one from Detroit.
There was a guy out of Chicago. His son was wheelchair bound and couldn't do a haunted house. He drove from Chicago to go through the haunted tunnel.
We're in Louisville, Kentucky.
6 hours away, 5-6 hours. And I thought that was one of the coolest things. There was a lot of that. So that being said, I kind of, at the end of it, I was telling everybody good job. They 100% did it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of, boy, we did it. I did not do it. Yeah. So it is.
Christina did it. Christina was the quarterback.
Christina ran it. It was Brexton's site.
Yeah.
Dylan, his brother, their dad, Ryan, the whole, those, yeah. That was a fun time. And I think we went through it. I want to say together.
I
wasn't a part of it. I was just the one that said, you can do it if you don't involve me. So, wanting to get the glory but do none of the work is I fell in that trap.
Okay.
In that regard. Dude, what a cool time. We have so many of those memories.
Man, that was one of the, again, there's a lot to learn there, folks. People will work really hard if they think they're involved with something special.
We the managers, we had we wanted on-site involved managers, and we had one thing we called pit leadership. You lead from the pit.
Oh yeah.
You lead. You can go to the aspect of Christianity that you came for the lowly, but if you lead from the pit, your team knows you get in the pit and they'll do anything for you.
Yep.
So every time we had a pit cleaning, the manager had to be in the pit with the boots on, literally.
Yep.
Leading. So they saw me get in the pit. If the chain broke, they see me get in there. And if they see you do it, they can't say no.
Yeah.
They want to do it. Well, they can't say no. I don't know if they want to do it for you. I think we ended up having a team that we all wanted to help each other and see each other succeed.
Yeah. And
we saw each other succeed, and we grew as a company, and they grew with us. And
they did grow with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But pit leadership, I think it's a good thing to teach your team, have them follow. Anyway.
Yeah. It's there's a lot to be learned from the pit leadership for sure. And again, doing something special. Like if you we're talking about a special event. So okay, how do you retain that? Doing something special in general. When you have again, I'm a little bit different on my goals, but hey, we could do something special here. Put I think what is one of those leaders called? A BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. There's different ways. I'm a little ambiguous about goals for a lot of different reasons because I try to think of the psychology behind it, like multi-levels, because they can really hurt you. Goals can hurt you in certain ways.
Yeah, I think goals are great, and I think that one especially is great. But anyway.
Yeah. So, but my point is the psychology of doing something special. You can retain people. You can get good work out of all of us if you just keep that in mind. How can you adapt that to your wash? How can you adapt that to your business? Is doing something special. And there's short-term stuff, but obviously short-term isn't sustainable all the time. There's some long-term stuff where you think you're doing something special. That short-term event was something special. Watching the crew, we were supposed to go 3 hours. We went 5 or 6 hours. We went from 8 to 1:45, 1:53 in the morning.
Slowed the track down. It was cold.
Oh, it was very cold. And the people were willing to do it because they heard the stories. The rumors spread. They were real rumors. They were true of how people were waiting 4 hours in line, and they didn't want to let anybody down.
Second day, so first day was tough. We did it 2 days for 3 hours apiece. It ended up being like 4 or 5 hours, but we did it 2 days. The second day, having to ask them to come out and do it again was tough. But one thing we did, we printed out comments from Facebook. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it was, man, coolest time of my life. My kid had a great time. So we printed it all out, taped it on the wall just to see that they were doing something special. Yeah. To visualize that.
And you guys donated to the Bluegrass Center for Autism?
We donated, it was a few thousand. It wasn't 100%. Yeah, they got a good look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
the
it.
Bluegrass Center for Autism. Yeah. Partnering with a local charity.
Yeah.
Local organization. Giving the community another reason to come.
Yeah.
That helped us out. And, you find a good organization that you can kind of resonate with. I thought we were pretty good at that.
You guys are very good at that. But that's part of the dialogue I'm trying to convey is there's things you could do in the community. Our general manager, hilariously, he would get every single load of the central vac. He would get out, dump it on this little, almost like chicken wire.
Like a sifter? Yeah.
And get all the change out.
Yeah.
And every year he went to the local something organization and donated, and it was thousands of dollars of change yearly. But so he's looked like he was gray because the dust. Everybody knows the dust of a central vac.
Blow your nose, it's black.
Yeah, he did it all the time, and people appreciate that. And there's a lot of different ways you can partner with local community and help out, and that goes a long way. It goes longer than you think to do something special.
We set up micro fundraisers. Is what we called it. The DRB had a way of doing it, and you would input a code. It would give you $3 to $5 off. You had to get the top wash.
Okay.
And then 25% of that wash you paid went back to the organization at the end of the month. And we had probably 20 different organizations that customers would come in, and they were getting checks for like $10 to $40 a month.
Okay.
It kind of became a hassle at times having to write smaller checks.
Yeah.
So then I ended up smaller organizations. I'd wait till the end of the year.
Yeah.
But you fundraise for a charity of 15 people.
Yep.
They have 10 of their friends. They tell their friends.
Yep.
And you're doing something good, and they appreciate you.
Yeah.
So
how do you think the employees reacted to that?
Honestly, I don't know if the employee. Well, I'm sure they appreciated it.
Yeah.
They probably felt like what they were doing mattered a little bit more.
Yeah. Just like that prom thing. That's a big deal.
I think that was such a cool time. My kids came, wife came, everybody. We were dolled up.
Huh.
That was neat, but we couldn't share it, which is kind of there's something nice to that. Just you did it just to do.
Yeah.
Another thing that I did not have anything to do with. That was the team.
You know what though? A lot of owners shoot this stuff down. Like, I mean, that's still, just being able to allow them to do it, because believe it or not, there's a lot of times where owners won't let that kind of stuff happen, for different reasons. So, so take some credit for just even allowing that stuff to happen, because there's a lot going on there. I mean, there's liabilities and all kinds of things to think about. So
go back to we did basketball every month.
Yeah.
We rented a gym out. It was a church gym. I think it was $60 a month, $40 a month to get the key. We'd have to drive, get the key, and then the team would go play basketball. And, it's probably. I stopped playing when I turned 30. Everything would hurt. So silly, dude.
Not anymore. Still young, buddy.
Yeah, I've been working out. I've been working out. Yeah. I've been anti-fragility.
There you go.
Stress your body to where.
There you go.
We'll see when something pops.
No. Power in your words. Nothing's gonna pop, buddy.
Nothing's gonna pop. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Need to do a soggy.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So any other tips, tricks, anything else you want to chat about?
I don't think so. I really do miss the team. And I keep, especially now, just kind of bringing it back up, thinking about it. So put your time in cultivating your team. I think the kindest thing you can do is help train somebody in a way that would benefit them. And it would benefit you and your company as well. So really pour into your team. They can be your biggest asset or your worst asset.
Yeah.
And if they're your biggest, they're exponentially your biggest.
Yeah. Did you guys do book studies or anything?
We did. Yeah, we read Ideal Team Player.
Heck yeah.
Lencioni. We read. All the managers read that.
Good.
We read. It's been a few years. 1 Minute Manager.
Okay.
We read that one. We had talked about others. I don't know if we ended up reading them.
I think that's the sleepiest thing in business. I think every business should be doing that once a week, doing book studies.
Yeah.
I think I can, any business, anywhere, I don't think anybody's really doing it. Very few are doing it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Especially small businesses.
Yeah.
And they need to.
Yeah, there's a lot of good books out there that would bring everybody together. Mm-hmm. Put everyone rowing in the same direction. Mm-hmm. The Lencioni Ideal Team Player was all about right people, right seats. So the managers read it, and if you're reading it later on down the road, it's harder because you hired this person, not the manager, but the manager hired this person for this role, and now they're realizing like they're not supposed to be in this role. So the earlier the better.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously for that.
That's the number one book every business owner should read, every manager should read.
Yeah. And I think it goes into culture. We had an honest culture. We had honesty in the fact that employees would tell me, they wouldn't tell me no. If I asked them to do something, they'd do it. But they would tell me if I was wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, Al, I don't think this is a good idea. Well, guys, do it anyway. Ended up, whether it was good or bad, we learned from that.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a good idea, man. Or, man, you were right. I think there are some owners out there that don't have anyone in their corner able to tell them no. And it's detrimental. You got to have people, we don't know it all. You got to have people, you got to have the honesty for people to say, that's a stupid idea and you suck at this.
That's all Deming. Do you feel that your employees respected you?
Yeah, I felt like it. Because I hope.
They did.
I respected them.
They did.
I felt like it was mutual.
You can have great respect without being feared.
Yeah, I was not feared.
Exactly. Yeah. Deming. Dr. Deming, drive out fear. And that communication. So most businesses, if this is the top, all the communication is going this way. When you drive out fear, you're getting the communication back. Mm-hmm. And like you said, they were able to tell you yes, no, this, and they still respected you. You're still willing to do it, but they're willing to tell you because you had that communication. When you have fear, that communication goes one way. So they're not able to feel. So if they feel what the customer's really feeling and really saying, they try to tell you, it goes on deaf ears. But with that open communication without fearing you, you're getting the communication from them. They're getting the communication from the customer. It goes with them too. that goes without being defensive. When a customer says something, don't be defensive. Like, listen, try to draw more out. Where did that miscommunication go wrong?
If one customer says it, 10 are thinking it, 20 are thinking it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is easy to write somebody off. Oh, my car came out dirty. Yeah, you had a dirty car.
As much as I preach it, it's natural for me too. Someone says something, my instinct. Oh, they are talking about, no, shut up. What try to draw more out. Where did the miscommunication happen? What did they not understand?
Yeah. View criticism as a gift.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people get enough of it. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people are, I don't think I'm good at giving it. I'm too scared to give it sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So if you have people that are bold enough to give it to you, take that as a gift.
Yeah. I think it's tough I see a lot of owners, there's a lot of different personalities out there, but in general, it's a generality, a lot of gritty small businesses, you had to be gritty and strong to get to where you're at. Mm-hmm. And that's where it takes maturity and humility to, okay, your strength and you being like a raging bull got you here, but you're not going to get any further unless you start to soften that and mature where you can drive out that fear and start to take that criticism. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's tough for a lot of owners. They got to a certain point. It's hard for them to get past that point.
Yeah.
Oftentimes. Not all the time, but oftentimes.
I was the opposite. I was too scared
you're
to do
unique.
anything.
Yeah. You had a little bit different personality.
Yeah. Which you could say it's good or bad. I saw the negative in it. I was too scared to get anything done. But I see the positives looking back at it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So there's a balance.
Yeah, we're all maturing. I mean, we're all in a certain spot trying to get better. There's no end to it.
Yeah. I'm actually going to have another pour of this, if you don't mind.
I'll have another pour of the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I'll do that with you.
Okay.
I rinsed these out before that one, but
okay,
if you're okay with it.
I'm okay.
One of my favorite things to do after you sip an old bourbon.
Okay.
It's got to be old. Nice old aged bourbon. The next day, just leave it sitting out. The next day, you come back and you smell that Glencairn. Oh, buddy. So I'm actually going to get a new one.
So this is called a Glencairn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know the story. Yeah, it says on the bottom, the Glencairn.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the dude who invented it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Printers are the lowest bar of technology.
Dude, they are so stupid. So stupid. So
I have a printer, a Canon at home. And it hit a certain point, it printed out this report, this eco report. Didn't ask for it. It just printed out. And it locked after it printed this report. Like, hey, use this much, whatever. So I had to call them. And then it was some obscure setting changed. I mean, you had to go in the menu. There's no way anybody could have ever figured it out without having tech support because it just changed a setting.
Canon.
And so frustrated because I'm just a small business owner. I need my printer to work. Everybody in existence just needs a printer to work, man. They just need to print.
Just
print the paper.
How long ago was this?
Oh, this is like 2 months ago.
Oh, okay. Very recent.
Yeah.
This HP thing was
Really?
probably 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm never going to buy an HP again.
Yeah.
Would you ever buy a Canon because of that issue? Maybe you're sold on it.
Well, no, it's because the bar is so low for in general. Like, what good printer out there? So that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I would just Google at the time and see what most people are saying.
There was a tweet years ago that was like, I've got an idea for a $1 million idea. And just a printer that works. Anybody
It's
interested?
true.
Just a printer.
That's true, 100% true. What other businesses have you followed any businesses and like tried to study them a little bit? Any great respect for any specific businesses out there?
I got a lot of respect for a lot of car wash owners. I think just because I've got an in-depth look and I know what it takes for them to be good or for them to succeed. I don't know if I don't know. I'm in a Vistage group with a lot of other CEOs, and you get an inside look in their industry. And you're in a group, there's 15, 16 guys. We meet once a month. There can't be anyone in your group who's in your industry, right? So it's all parsed out. And I've got all the respect in the world for every one of them. They're all operating at the top of their field. So every one of those guys, there's the food industry, construction, tech, electrical. That's cool to see. And it's all people related. It's all, dude, you go to any industry.
Still psychology. It comes down to emotion.
So I mean, there's a guy in our group, he's $200 million a year revenue, right? We are nowhere near that. will never be. But we sit down at meetings, and the issues he's talking about, he's like, oh, my secretary said a bad word, and I got to discipline her, and it made this person mad, and now they want to change stuff. It's
Same stuff.
Same stuff. It doesn't matter how big you are. Actually seeing that other people, successful people, go through things the same way is kind of motivating in a weird way. Kind of like, well, okay, if they're going through it, I'm not doing so bad.
Yes, absolutely.
So Vistage has been very helpful. I've been in it almost 2 years, maybe year and a half. But a lot of nuanced industries in there.
Can you learn anything from them?
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of my good buddies in there is putting together a hiring. What would you call it? He took a deep dive into hiring and into how to hire the younger generation.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's in the food industry. They make electronics like for frying foods and storing foods in a hot environment and stuff like that. But so the boomers were motivated essentially by pay and security, right? Generation, I'm going to get all these wrong. I don't know the freaking generations. X, Z. The next generation was motivated by purpose, I believe. I think we're motivated more by purpose than
Xer.
money. You're an Xer?
Yeah.
I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
Millennials are motivated by purpose. You guys are motivated. I don't know what you're motivated by.
Right.
And then after that, they're motivated by just different things than even millennials.
Yeah.
Gen Z. And then the next generation is called Generation, it's goofy. Generation Alpha or something like that. Generation Beta. I think it's Generation Beta. I know. So anyway, he put together a packet and a hiring guideline on how to hire these different types of people.
1 second.
So yeah, you can take it from his industry, and you can put that in any industry.
Yeah, it was a loaded question. The reason I know, I'm glad you did. Mm-hmm. Pontificate away. Mm-hmm. The car wash, I guess I probably come across harsh at times. Because I have great respect for all the owners as well, but it's more, I get frustrated because these owners all talk to each other owners and has nothing to do with car washing. Car washing is just the vessel your business is in. And I take everything from other industries and just apply it. There are certain things that obviously are specific to car wash, but very few. It's just, you're just a service industry. You're just putting out a product. Your product is a clean car, but there's also service to it. There's speed, feeling comfortable. And it's really important to get your head out of car washing. Love the forums. There's a lot of information on there, but you're going to learn very specific car wash things, but don't get caught up in the philosophy. Go to all the other stuff for that. Go to Toyota, Chick-fil-A, these other people, Deming, we can go on to Lencioni, all these authors, Miller, Donald Miller, like all this stuff, Story Brand. Because car washing is the simplest thing. It is pretty darn simple to do. It's an assembly line. No matter how you're doing it, you're a guy's building an air fryer, a guy's building a computer. You're still dealing with people. We're just building a clean car. We're building the most efficient way to build a clean car. How do we make people comfortable? How do we make it fun? And get your head out of car washing. Start reading some books that have nothing to do with car washing.
The owner of who started Mike's Car Wash, either Joe or Ed, one of the Doms. I don't know if he's passed. Forgive me, but he said we're in the business of pleasing people. We just happen to wash cars.
There you go.
I think that's the exact quote. If not, I'm sorry,
Close.
but it's very much like that. So at our Preston site, we were under a roof. We pulled the customer in. We had an extra 25 feet to guide them onto the track and send a roller. But if you look up on the back side of the wall where the employee sees it when they're pulling on, the customer can't see it. We put really big. First, we're kind. Then we wash cars. And I thought everything kind of flows from that.
Excellent.
If you put out a dirty car but you're kind, you can rewash it.
Yep.
If you're a dick, it's very hard to apologize.
Yeah.
Come back from that.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how clean the car is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good starting point. But yeah.
Absolutely is. And it's great you're with a bunch of other CEOs doing different things. I find it's a buzzword. It's been a buzzword that's been kind of hijacked, but the diversity of business, start exploring other businesses and don't dismiss, if you're a car wash person, don't dismiss what you can learn
of a season of your life stepping away from even looking at car washing in general. Just look at all these other businesses, start reading some, top tier work culture people. You mentioned it's just people. At the end of the day, it's just people. The reason my tangent is emotion is because it's logical, ironically. That's part of my personality, is a flaming ENTJ. But it's 90% of our decision making, I talk about this in my training all the time, is subconscious. If you take away subconscious, it's almost a synonym as emotion. Logic has very little to do with what we do. And even you can be in an engineering firm. And believe it or not, underneath an engineer's mind, there's certain personality types, there's crazy emotion. It's almost like a volcano, an engineer. Like they work a certain way, but really? you let it come out of it, it's whoosh. There's a lot of emotion. It's just a harder crust. I'm just explaining things.
Yeah. They're not good at expressing it. So yeah.
But it's there.
Sure.
And if it goes out, it goes out.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's just underlying. And it's super logical in many ways. But emotion, as logical as certain people are, the emotion's still driving it. Still driving it. It's just, that's what we've discovered. Throughout history, we've discovered we're emotional people. It's all subconscious. Subconscious means underneath your consciousness, which means the base programming. So we were talking on iPhone and Android earlier. And
sorry.
Nah, I could care less.
I approached that conversation weirdly. But I should have. You got an Android.
Got an Android. So no matter what kind of programming it had, the iOS system, the Android system, Windows, Linux, like it's a certain language, and it's all based off that language. So when you're trying to develop, you got to develop your subconscious. You got to develop your inner being. And just same with selling to someone, same with training your people. Everybody's trying to go after the very end product, when it's the underlying programming. If you work on the underlying programming first, everything just starts clicking. That's why it's all about people. It's emotion and subconscious all the time.
What are people looking for subconsciously that they don't know they're looking for?
I would say that's a great question. I probably won't be able to answer that properly, but meaning, to be seen, sure. And meaning.
Yeah. There was I missed that at the tunnel.
Okay.
Just remembering people's names.
Yeah.
And making them feel significant.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I had a nice opportunity. Customer pulled up. I was shoveling some snow. We were open, but it looked like we were shut down. And he pulls up, and we don't have many customers, so I know a lot of their names right now. But he said, "It's Alex, right?" And I said, "Yeah." Joe, man, how do you remember that? And I told him, I was like, "Well, I don't have a lot of friends." So no, I'm just kidding. I remember. It was him and I talked. We talked about bourbon and cigars. And I don't know anything about cigars, but I learned a lot. And it made him. We ended up having like a 20-minute conversation.
Yeah.
And one of our scorecard measurements on EOS. So EOS, during your meeting, you have your issues, you have your check-in, but you have a scorecard where you can measure how your business is doing. Usually like a leading indicator of things. But anyway, meaningful conversations is one of our scorecard measures. And so I got to check one there. But I think that's how you grow in the community.
That's a good goal, by the way.
Because
you can control it.
You don't have to do a lot. He will tell his friend, who will tell their friend, So I think a lot of car wash operators are good at that, honestly. Most are people. Yeah,
I agree.
And they're proud of what they've built and proud of their product. I think we're a good industry for that.
I don't know if they're good at training it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's the underlying of that training. That's the first thing to do. Hey, notice the car. It has nice wheels, cool color. Find something. Most people are wearing a hat or a shirt. Way more people than you think have something that they want noticed.
That dude, Brad, came in the car wash. They were in the Doom sweatshirt.
Well, I noticed this guy comes in. I just happened to be helping out for like a day and a half at his wash. Coming through town, wanted to see him and catch up, check out the wash, give some tips. And this guy's listened to a very obscure podcast, but just happened to be an obscure podcast that I listen to. And get to talking to the guy. We're sitting out there talking 10, 15 minutes, and we'll mention each other on the podcast because we just know similar circles. And went a long way, but you gain with him.
I remember that.
He's a customer for life.
He was wearing a Doom sweatshirt. He came, he bought a pass. He was vacuuming, and he comes very frequently.
Cool dude. Real nice, real kind.
Yeah. He was wearing Doom sweatshirt. I said, "Oh, you play Doom?" like, Doom Eternal is my favorite game of all time. And then we talked about a video game for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's an awesome game, by the way. Doom's a great game. But yeah, he'll remember that conversation. He's been a member ever since.
Yeah.
And the people who use your wash most frequently, it's easy to get upset. You know, they're spending this much, they come this frequent. They're your biggest champions.
They are your biggest champions.
And treat them such.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, people, you got me thinking. I want to keep thinking about that, but I think just wanting to be seen, want to be noticed. We all want to be noticed in general, but I think for our skills, what we're good at, we did something right. I think we're all striving for that. There's something in our nature that's striving for that.
Yeah, being told people are proud of us.
Yeah,
it's one of our basic desires. Shelter, food. What do you call that? Just being noticed.
Totally. Yeah, Demi has another thing about. And there's a few people in some businesses that I really wrestle with. They think this is completely false, but everybody wants to do a good job, and I agree with them. I mean, you have to cultivate, you have to design the different aspects of your business to allow them to do a good job.
Oh yeah,
and that's
you got to give them the tools,
nuance, the tools, or the environment. You got to create the environment so they're able to do a good job. And when people, it's this more than you think. First of all, pay people properly. I'm not saying you have to overpay or underpay, but pay people. They still have to get, because Deming's against, which I'm also against, commissions and different things like that. I know a lot of you disagree, but
they were great for us.
Well, that wasn't really a commission. That was, I would say, I guess I'm getting into the weeds here. That was more of a bonus, like what you all accomplished. That was more of like a profit share. I look at that more as a profit share.
Oh, okay. So.
Okay, not like a sales goal, like more of a profit share.
I thought that was cool. It did give them a piece of the pie.
Yeah, I'm all in. Yeah. I'm all in on a profit share.
Okay.
Because it's team related. You're all getting there together, and it's all what you accomplish together. It's a different mentality than you do this and you get this. You get what you incentivize. Yeah. Now, the reason, if you just bonus just the sale, guess what? The profit share is way more powerful because these people might do whatever they got to do to get a sale. They may make it more enemies pushing on people.
Sure.
And then they might get more sales, but long term it worked against your business. Yeah. Profit share, everybody's have the same goal. We got to grow this whole thing, so everybody's got to be happy. The customers got to be happy.
If you sell it, single commission, they get the sale, they're done.
Yep.
Profit share, the tunnel has to operate.
They keep everybody happy all the time.
Employees have to be happy. Customers have to be happy.
Girl with the vacuum, whatever. You're keeping everybody happy.
Yeah.
A lot clean.
It all feeds.
Yep. So the creating the environment, a lot of people miss this. It's probably the most important thing at any business is people want to do a good job. Yep. And when they can't do a good job, there's a frustration. And that frustration is why they want to leave. Sure. Because they're not capable of doing a good job. I know a couple of businesses I work with where they're too lean. People they're all looking for new jobs because it's impossible for them to do a good job.
Yes.
So when we think we know we have skills, we know we have this, we know we have that, and we can't, the structure, I mentioned earlier a quote that you can't outwork, what did I say? You can't outwork a
bad system.
A bad system. That's part of it. If the system's so bad, no matter how hard you work, you can't do as good as you know you want to do or as good as you want the company to succeed, you're looking elsewhere.
Yes.
And that could be someone that's making $12 an hour or someone that's making $250,000, $1 million a year. If you know you could do better and you're unable to because of the way the system is, you're looking.
We lost a really good employee because of that.
How so?
We didn't give him the right tools to solve the job.
Okay.
We threw him in an environment. He wasn't ready for it. We didn't give him the tools as in helping decision making, helping give him the power to make a decision without us or without hurting this other legacy employee's feelings.
Okay.
It was tough on him. We ended up losing a really good employee because of that. But I think he's doing better now, which is great. You know, he's in a better place now, and we ended up selling. So
yeah,
I think he's in a good spot. But we did realize that at the time. It was just I didn't know what the right move was.
Yeah.
Take care of the legacy employee, take care of him, because we couldn't do both at the same. I couldn't find a solution to where they both.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's he did not have the right tools to run that site. And that was because of us, not because of him.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Just take responsibility. Extreme Ownership, Jocko. Check out those books. That's a great book. Dichotomy of Leadership is.
I think I read that one. I didn't read Extreme.
I didn't read Extreme yet either. I guess I get the concept, but I do want to read it. But dichotomy, I give people, I got to give this, my most recent client, a bunch of books.
One at a time, dude. Just give them one at a time.
Oh no, they want lists. They'll get lists. They'll get lists of a lot of
Well,
books.
if they want it, sure. Yeah, okay.
But what I was going to say is I have this list of, a couple dozen books. The Dichotomy of Leadership, it covers a lot of books, like all in one. It's a pretty thick book, but it covers a lot of books. He does a good job of getting most of it in one book.
What would you do externally outside of business, outside of a business decision, to make yourself better in your business world? What do you do at home to help you?
Oh, that's the base programming. So Brian Tracy, personal development.
Oh, you talk about, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, personal development, I think that's helped me. Brian Buffini will talk about it. You got your, Jordan Peterson's. These people, you're the lid in your own life. So when you make yourself better, yeah, dude, you make everybody else better. That's the other thing. You're a much better employee. And this is another thing owners miss. When I talked about book studies, because there's accountability to book studies. Like, let's just take the Lencioni one, because that's the easiest book for everybody to read. Is
Ideal Team Player?
Ideal Team Player.
Yeah.
It also helps you hire way better. So you study that together. 5 Dysfunctions of a Team is another great book by the same author. So that accountability helps you all grow. But if you get and it's a little bit more intimate environment to work on personal development. So this is maybe something you can do with certain members of the team, because it's definitely a more, you have to be more vulnerable to do personal development. But I have these kind of book studies, not with really coworkers, but like at my house, we're starting in 30 hours from now, we're having another book study of a Brian Tracy book. But that personal development, when you help, I'll get it away from myself, when you help younger people or anybody willing to have the humility to personally develop, so encouragement, basically self-help-ish type books. Brian Tracy is probably the best one. I think he's probably the best author of the last couple generations to do that, but there's others that are good out there. Who's that guy with the big jaw and you would know him?
I would.
Talks like this and
Jocko.
no,
big old head.
He's like the.
Oh, he used to play in the NBA. Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
He never played in the NBA, did he?
I thought he's an NBA player.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure.
Okay, well, we'll fact check that, folks.
Looks like you would.
So Tony Robbins, but personal development. If you take all your employees, talk about marginal gains, and let's say out of 100 points in their life, they're like a 12 or a 13 or a 14 or a 22, and you personally encourage them and personally help their life to be a little bit better, 2, 4, 6 points, the whole business is going to go up more than that. The business is going to go up 10, 20 points.
Yes.
Because everybody's better at their job. So I had an experience I talked about later where, one of the places I worked that kept cut any second you could cut labor, cut it now. It's like, no, dude, that's my personal development time. You got these kids, again, 16 to 30 years old.
Yeah.
If you care about them, help them through some things, and they become a better person, the whole place is going to grow. And that's underutilized in business for the most part as well.
Sure.
Now, certain people like ourselves kind of have a big heart. We might care a little bit more about that than other business owners. And that's not judgment. It's just how we're wired. We kind of care a lot about people. But you're missing out. That's a great opportunity as a person to develop people. So I didn't mean to push it away from myself, but personal development and helping your team personally develop. Like Dave Ramsey, my owner was so on board. I just didn't have the time to do it, again, because of labor. We didn't have time. We all worked stupid hours, the leadership did. But do a Dave Ramsey course. What if you could carry all your employees and make them more financially successful, no matter what they're making?
We had my secretary,
Yeah.
call her that. Sherry came in a couple hours a week. Awesome to have around. Wonderful. She was retired. She was great for the business, helped me write bills. But one thing she helped employees budget. If they ever wanted it on the side, I don't know if it was during work hours. I wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Or maybe when they clocked out, they went upstairs and she helped them out. But yeah, stuff like that. At work, doing stuff not work.
Huge.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really sweet of her.
You have some young people, not get in significant debt or help people in debt get out a little bit of debt, help people make better decisions. Oh my gosh. Again, and they may go somewhere else or they may stay.
Doesn't matter.
There is a great Ramsey quote, which I do agree with, and I'm not all on board. There's a lot of stuff I don't agree with, but he goes, people once ask, if I spend all this time training people, what if they leave? He goes, what if you don't train them and they stay?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So go all in personal development your people and training your people.
It's worth the risk. At the very least, you help someone in their life.
Yeah.
Right? The very least, you lost a good employee and they may go work for your competition and work against you.
Yeah. But you know what? Their sister, cousin, or other people might come in. They might tell them. Yeah. Because maybe they did move on, but they'll still send people to your business if you got that relationship.
Yes. They'll always remember that.
To get back to your question, same thing. It's all personal development for me. So it's Brian Tracy, lots of books, journaling. You mentioned journaling earlier. I don't know if it was on camera or not, but just affirmations, positive affirmations, that kind of stuff. It goes because it's subconscious, and it works.
We're trying to do it with my son right now.
Okay.
He's 6 years old, struggles low confidence. Very sweet kid, but we think positive affirmations are going to start to help. So
it does help. Oh, the psychology of achievement. Read that. It's great for kids. I mean,
say that again.
Psychology of achievement.
Psychology. Okay.
Psychology of achievement. Well, that's something that might be.
That's hard to say, but no, I get it. Who?
That's Brian Tracy. The original one is hard to find because there's like an updated. Find the original. It's the most cheesy 80s self-help book. So
you might have you look in the mirror and say, "I look good today."
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it's funny. We're talking about different businesses, and I was watching a Patrick Bet-David video, and you watch people's eyes, right? He was this is a long time ago. He was interviewing the CEO of Lululemon. And he was like, what books? And he started mentioning, I don't know, he probably listed 4 or 5 books. He's like, this book. And he said The Psychology of Achievement. And he both saw this like little twinkle in both their eyes. They're like, oh, they just went like, oh, like, oh yeah, that book. Just the way they both reacted when the one gentleman said it. Like, okay, I'll check this out. And that was probably the most life-changing book of my life. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it's subtle. Don't underestimate the subtleties of life. The subtleties can be very powerful. The underlying subtleties of life. But that was a good one. And I do book studies with other people, try to help them along. And there's other books like that. Just read The Courage to Be Disliked. A couple Japanese guys got together and wrote a book about Adlerian psychology. Again, it's putting yourself in control of your own life instead of accepting. There's no reason to accept how you may or may not be, because why not feel like you could change it and go for it? It was a pretty good book.
We were talking former employee Dave Biggers. He ended up being our maintenance guy while he worked. Awesome to have around. He was a guy who told me, no, Alex, I think this is a dumb idea, but he would do it. He said, I'll do it. I just want you to know it's a dumb idea before I do it. Just not it. But he ended up doing it. So there was a lot of resistance there, but he was a great asset to the team. But one thing he said, when we needed to fix something, I forgot what we were working on. We didn't know how to do it, or we didn't have previous knowledge. And he was like, no, we can figure it out. I was like, well, how? We got to call these guys. If they can figure it out, we can figure it out. If somebody else has done it anywhere in this world, we can do it. And I thought that's such a good confidence booster. You can take that to any aspect of life.
Yes, you can.
Yes, but that was something we learned from him, and you can change, like you were saying, Adlerian. Is that?
It's Dr. Adler, I believe.
Okay.
So they call it Adlerian psychology.
Yeah.
Again, I could be butchering that, but that's what I believe.
Yeah, you're in control.
Take control. Take responsibility. And what you brought up there, like Dave was a manager, but don't dismiss wisdom wherever and however it shows up. You can have a bum on the street. I used to do work in the prisons. It can be any customer. It can look like anything. Listen, there's wisdom out there where places you don't expect it. Again, it's just having humility. You can learn so much from someone. There's so much out there to learn.
Everybody's got experience in something.
Yeah. And it takes discernment. Just have discernment. There's things you throw it away, and there's things you might be surprised of what you learn from who.
I prayed for discernment for so long because I was wishy-washy. I was not good at making the call, thinking it would affect this from doing this. Right? And I think a lot of people struggle with that. but I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Being a type 9 Enneagram, being a campaigner, my goal is to get everybody to get along.
Yeah.
Anyway, wife and I would pray for discernment for years. One thing that helped me with decision making was my health, was eating proper, getting junk out of my diet, which I had a cupcake earlier today, and we're drinking literal poison right now. But eating healthy, knowing what affects your body. So I did a diet called Whole30, or a lifestyle eating it. You ever heard of Whole30?
No.
30 days you eat. You can't eat bread, dairy, sugar, legumes.
Heck yeah.
It's an elimination diet, and then you slowly reintroduce these things each week after 30 days to see what affects you. But that being said, my clarity got magnified. Yep. My decision making, I saw things so much more clear. So I was like, oh no, we'll do it this way. When previously I was just torn between doing what to do. Now I've taken that a step further. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a functional health doc.
Yeah.
And so I know what affects my body. We did genetic testing and stuff. But prioritizing your health, cardio, lifting weights.
Yep.
Lifting weights will help trigger synapses, might be the right word, but create connections in your brain. Just lifting weights. So anyway, stressing your body a little bit, that all helps with decision making. So I think a lot of people, if you prioritize your health, you can literally perform better in business, not just live longer.
Absolutely. Everything gets better. It's that is marginal gains at its finest. Like if you eat healthier, that gives you a little bit more clarity, a little bit more energy. So then maybe you walk a little bit more a day, and then you work out. And so what this eating thing maybe is 1 or 2%. It's probably way more than that. Let's say it's 5-10%. But let's just say we'll go back. Let's say it's 3 or 4%, and then walking gives you 3 or 4%. That doesn't add up to 6 or 8%. It's like 15% better. And then you make better decisions, and that adds up. Mm-hmm. It's taking care of ourselves. And there's a lot of agreements and disagreements. We're all built different about diet, but in general, cut out sugars and processed carbs. Like cut out processed foods and sugars and call it a day. Like that alone is going to help every single human being work at a much better level.
And you realize we would call boring food now starts tasting unreal. When I was on Whole30, week 3 or 4, a grape would taste like cheesecake. You just don't know. True. And then I remember Taylor and I went to Shake Shack in Chicago. We were finished Whole30. She bought me tickets to see Hamilton on Broadway in Chicago. And we went to Shake Shack. It was our first meal after Whole30.
Welcome coma.
Which destroyed my body. It was rough. But I could taste the chemicals.
Yeah.
I could taste them when I was drinking a milkshake.
Yeah.
Love milkshakes. Yeah. Lactose intolerant, shouldn't drink a milkshake. Loved it, right?
Yeah.
But I could taste the chemicals. So anyway, if you start eating clean, the food that you think you're going to miss, you end up finding foods to replenish that.
Yeah.
And you get more enjoyment out of more boring foods.
Yeah. Some of my friends would make fun of me because I used to eat like just basically chicken and beans all day long. I would crock pot some stuff, I would eat all week. Yeah, I'm okay for my age. I haven't been able to work out because I've been working so much. It bothers me, but I'll get back to it. It's
bad excuse, man.
I know it's a terrible excuse. It's just reality. I mean, I'm working all day anyway. All right, it's reality. But I would eat chicken and beans like all the time, and then when I go somewhere and have just like anything, I would just freak out how good it was. And they're like, "Dude, it's just okay." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Because all you eat is chicken and beans, man. Like, all right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I think you're doing yourself a big favor, eating healthy. And how can you help the ones around? You're doing a disservice to the ones around you if you're not being the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
So eat healthy, treat your body healthy, become the best version of yourself so the people around you in your business, at your home, can be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, man. And with the kids' stuff, like their minds are so much more sensitive. Like anything negative. Like I've cut out, like I don't do anything negative. Even joking around, like negativity won't leave. I'll put it this way. I'm very critical of businesses. That's my job. And but critical isn't negative. It's like just helping to basically enlighten the truth. Like, hey, here's some issues you can make better. Okay. I want to say that's negative, but in our society, or for the past, several hundred years, like
we joke with each other, we joke with friends. You kind of rib on each other. Certain cultures do that a lot more than others.
The currency of male bonding is a well-timed putback. Or put down.
Yeah.
The currency of male bonding is a well-timed put down.
Yeah.
Just make fun of each other.
Yep. You know what though? I cut that. Like I don't do any of that.
You don't?
Nope.
Oh,
like I very rarely, like there's too much riding on it. Like negative stuff, there's too much riding on it. Again, especially for kids.
Yes.
You know, it's like negativity, like cut it out. Like you don't know how it affects people.
My son talks bad about himself. I'm stupid. I don't know how to do it. We tell him, would you talk to a friend like that?
Yeah.
You talk about yourself like you talk to your friend, like you talk to your sister. They don't always talk great to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you treat yourself like you're a friend.
Or tell them, hey, you're my son. I wouldn't let anybody talk to my son like that. Don't talk to my son like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's you guys will get there.
Yeah. Parenting, that's a change my mindset on running. I think it's helpful for running a business, but I don't know. I don't know how to connect that with the team. It makes you at times more empathetic to your crew, and at times it makes you more, what's the opposite of that? Unempathetic.
Okay.
So I don't know where that would lead. It gives you more patience, but then again, at times it gives you less patience because you're like, my kid can do this. You can do this. I don't know.
I've only had more empathy throughout the years. I don't think I've ever lost empathy. I think I've only gained it every single
You've gained
day.
empathy?
I mean, I never get less. It's always more. That doesn't mean there shouldn't be tactics to try to work on it or people can't work on it. It's just, when the more you study the mind and see where social media is taking things and the power of social media, we talked about entities earlier. So media in general, media companies, social media companies, and you understand subconscious, you understand addiction, you understand casinos, the same people who program casinos, program Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff, and Facebook. What's that?
It was a casino. It was a slot machine called Buffalo Run.
Oh, okay.
Buffalo. I want to play. I want to go right now.
There you go. Well, same people. It's the same psychology. Mm-hmm. Social media, same psychology. So I say all that you really have to unplug. Like, I can see why people are at where they're at.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot going on outside or under the veil.
Yeah.
Behind the veil.
Yeah.
Shifting us and getting us to go ways we don't know we're going.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you say stay off social media, get on social media? It's part of your business.
It's part of my business. Yeah, but I try to.
It's a luxury, I think, to be off it.
I agree. It's tough to do. Yeah. It's tough to do. Yeah, for most people, it'd be great to get off it. I think that, and everybody I've known that's left it feels like they have a lot better life.
Yeah, I do love the car wash Facebook groups. I do love, now I'm getting off the bourbon groups, but for a while I was into the bourbon groups.
Yeah.
And there was always a reason that I needed to stay on.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a marker of addiction. Justifying the smallest thing. No, I can't leave because of this.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, there's a novelty trigger, and that's one reason.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a novelty loop.
The infinite scroll.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, you're looking for novelty. Because dopamine isn't gaining something. Dopamine is the anticipation of getting something. So the reason the casinos, we're just going to use a slot machine because it's really easy for people to see that scroll. It's the same thing with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. So you're anticipating one more thing that's novel, meaning new, something you haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you're looking for. That's why a lot of professional ads don't work as good as like homegrown ads, like the stuff you guys do and the stuff I teach. Like, because real people.
Yeah.
Actually, in some ways, unprofessionalism actually stops people more than professional ads.
That's a good. Is there anything else you can do, like on physical location, to give a customer a little? Oh, that's new.
Oh, everything. So pictures, puppies, babies, cars, having fun.
Not social media.
Okay.
Sorry, physically on the site.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you could. Anything new, man. Anything quirky. So just take days. I just had this on the other podcast. We were talking about like there's a calendar every day has like 3 special days. Like it's National Hot Dog Day, whatever. So just like once every 2 weeks, whatever, pick some goofy day, and you might have like a kite hanging from You're like, what is that? Oh, it's National Kite Day. You bring your kite? Get a free wash and bring your kite? No one has a kite anymore. We used to fly when I was a kid, but no one has a kite anymore.
Some dude every third day. Hey, did you see what day it is? I got my kite.
Yeah.
All right, man.
But that kind of stuff, and you have interactions. Someone thinks it's hilarious when they go to the vacuums. Hey, did you know it's National Kite Day? We're going to post this. I didn't know it's National Kite Day. Yeah, well, you didn't get your free wash. Just have fun with it. But that's so novel. That's so goofy. People are absolutely going to dig that.
Yeah. We wanted to put a billboard. We thought it would be hilarious. And you could take this and run with it.
Huh?
Like 4,000 miles away, all the way down I-65 or something. I don't know. But it would say, hey, 2,000, or Thomas Car Wash, 2,600 miles in the opposite direction. You know, and have someone come, hey, I drove this far. You give them, what are you going to give them? Give them a free wash? Okay, thanks for driving 2,000 miles. But it is funny to drive past and be like, hi. I don't know if you'd ever get business, but it would draw attention.
No, that's a great idea. Jason approved. 100%. That's a great idea. Because you can put that on social media, people will just find out, like, why did they do this? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's the most novel thing ever. But if you find out where they live, like, hey, man, guess what? If that ever would happen, I don't think it would happen. But if someone would drive, maybe on a trip, like, what's your local wash? And give them 6 months or something on their local wash.
That's a great idea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Like, hey, look at our billboard in South Dakota. People will laugh hysterically. And the other thing is, a billboard in South Dakota probably doesn't cost much, so freaking go for it.
Yeah. Pretty outlandish stuff. Yeah,
that's the kind of thinking, though, folks. That's good social media thinking.
Mm-hmm. Christina does a great job at that.
She's an ace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She had my dad throw a snowball at my head. There's some kind of trend. It's funny.
It's funny. It was good. It was great. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was showing people your wash. I was at a company with like 1,100 employees. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, follow this one. That just popped up and they just started laughing. Especially a younger guy. He was like, oh, that's pretty good. I was like, yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah, just a little, that's all we're looking for. But yeah, okay. We, one thing Kevin, our manager at Hirschborn, used to, he would, every Christmas, he would decorate for Christmas. And he'd always ask for a budget. Hey man, can I, and he would get on the roof and he'd do, and Mike also, the former manager, he'd put big old Santa Claus, is what he called it. That was really sweet. But one thing Kevin always pushed for, new gate arms. So after someone paid, you got your gate, your little magnetic gate, and every season, whether it's St. Patty's Day or Halloween, he would switch the gate arm. Yeah. And we had a witch for Halloween on a broom, and so for Halloween she would just be flying on them.
That's real cool. Stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, that you're right. That novelty. Oh, I wonder what the gate arm's going to be. I don't know if anyone thought of it, but at least.
Yeah. Dave's dog.
Oh man, Gato. Yeah. Gato was a staple.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. He passed away. Did you know that?
Oh.
Yeah. There was an accident, but yeah, Gato. Everyone knew Gato. Loved Gato. We posted about him.
Yeah.
He was a good dog.
It's a great dog.
He would come to work and he wouldn't, he wouldn't go in the pit.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go in the tunnel. He chilled there. Yeah.
That was a good one. But people love dogs.
Mm-hmm. Forgot about Gato.
Any kind of animal.
We would give dog treats.
Yeah, that's. I agree. Everybody should do that.
I was against it. I have since learned to like animals, or at least show affection to animals, because I don't want my kids to be afraid of dogs like me. So I try to pet them when they're around.
Yeah, I didn't think someone could bite it. A dog could bite someone.
Oh yeah, dude, dogs bite.
I know that, but I mean.
What, you mean like handing a dog treat?
Yeah.
It's a you hand it to the owner.
Yeah, that's right.
We had a manager who loved dogs, and he was like, we're going to start giving dog treats. I'm like, okay, you buy dog treats. I'm not going to hand them to the dogs. Another thing that I didn't approve of, I approved of, I didn't want anything to do with it. Customers loved it. Whenever they would pull up, that their dog is their child. Yes. I don't have that experience.
Yes, it is.
If you go after the pets. The dog, when they pulled up, would run to the front seat. They'd lower the window and wait. And I was so awkward trying to hand it to him. I'd give it like this.
Smell your fear.
Well, I grew up in the full serve game where I would vacuum dog hair out of customers' cars.
Okay, yeah.
Stink like it the rest. I couldn't stand animals. Yeah. And I just didn't like it. But dog treats, I'm sure a lot of people do that.
Yeah, a fair amount of washers do. Yeah. They should, if they're not.
Dog treats are big.
They're big. But the more of the reason, you got to leverage it. So when you get the dog treat and they pull it around the vacuum, say, hey, mind if what's your dog's name? Mind if we get a picture and put it on Facebook? And then, Fluffy visited us today. That's what you want on Facebook. Just don't, you're there to be a servant. You're there to give dog treats,
Yeah.
but people miss out on what they can gain from that. Take advantage of it. Get everything you can out of every interaction.
Yeah. At the Full Serve, we did buck that idea because we didn't want to vacuum customers' cars with dog hair. But at the Express, it works because you don't have to vacuum.
Yeah, that's their problem.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's been good. Talk a lot of philosophy, which is definitely, I don't get into as often as I'd like. I could talk about that all day long.
I could talk to you about that.
Emotion and philosophy and psychology.
Well, you're very good at it. You're fun to listen to about it. I don't know much about it. And there's a lot you can do to help your business, help your family.
Yeah.
What was that book you talked about?
The Courage to Be Disliked.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. Again, in most of these books I suggest, I don't agree with everything in there, but there's still a lot to gain. These two guys wrote it as basically an analogy about Dr. Adler. And Peterson already knew everything about Dr. Adler. So he didn't really need to read that book. He knew all his philosophies because he's a psychologist for a living. I mean, he studied it.
One of my biggest regrets, I was doing Whole30 at the time. Jordan Peterson came to speak. We went, my brother-in-law and I, we got tickets. And Whole30, you can't have Coke. You can only have black coffee.
Okay.
I didn't have an extra black coffee. I had like one in the morning. And we went to the Palace, and they only had Coke. And I was like, I can't drink it. And I fell asleep when Peterson was talking. He gets in the weeds. That's I swear, I should have just drank the Coke.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
His goal is to bring that knowledge to the general public.
Yeah.
Very
He could
noble.
bring it a lot easier if he did 15 to 30-minute videos instead of 3 hour ones. As we get on our third hour, you know.
We've been doing it 3 hours?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You condense this into 15 minutes, man. We'll have some.
Yeah, 3:18, buddy.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think we're going to call it evening here. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I feel great.
Yeah. All right.
Good couple pours.
Yep.
Thank you for coming. I love sharing those bottles with you. They mean a lot to me.
I appreciate it. I'm honored.
Yeah. Well, I'll remember the pours we shared.
Absolutely. The pours we shared. It sounds like a great soap opera.
We should do it. It's a great idea.
All right, man. Thank you. Always a pleasure being out here.
Thanks, Jason.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.